Hello everybody, welcome to today's stream. We are going to be doing the... Sorry, let me redo that. Hello everybody, welcome to today's race. It's not F1 today. Today we are here for the GT3, so the International GT3 Championship for the Daytona 1.5 hour, sorry, 2.4 hour. I've named the stream wrong, I'll have to change that. Yeah, we are here for the Daytona road course, the Daytona 24 hour. Hang on, sorry, I'm going to try to see if I could change the stream name or something. I've messed up the name of it. Yeah, apologise for the name. I had made the title of the stream before, because I had asked the league owner what I should call it. I hadn't got an answer, so I wanted to put something down. But yeah, it is Season 3, Round 1 for the 2.4 hour of Daytona. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I usually do for the F1 stream. I'm going to do a quick lap of the track. And sort of talk about it, because this, honestly, without, you know, lying at all, this is one of my favourite circuits, probably in the world. I love the mixture of the oval and the infield. And the infield I find it quite challenging, and good for racing as well. So I'm going to do a quick lap around, do a quick out lap, and then we'll talk about it. I'll just talk about it on the out lap though, before I do a flyer. So of course, this track used a lot for IMSA. I think it's used for some bike racing as well, but of course Daytona primarily known for its NASCAR. And of course the first ever official NASCAR race, I think, was held here at Daytona Beach. And Daytona as a whole, though, is a very important place for motorsport throughout the season, or throughout the year, with many championships racing here on the oval and also on the infield, as well as there being a rallycross circuit as well, which gets used. And it's a multi-purpose stadium as well, because they use the infield for likes of Supercross, and they use it for tourist purposes as well. I myself have actually been around the track here on a track day. Sorry, not on a track day, sorry. I was taken in a NASCAR around the track. 3 laps it was. They tried the high line on 1 lap, the low line on 1 lap. It was, you know, really cool, especially now being able to drive on it in the game. It sort of brings back those memories. It's always a good track for me. But we are now going to do a lap. Hopefully I want to spin. It's very possible. And I'll talk through the track, because it's quite difficult, especially this part, which as we cross the line, this part's fine until you get to the braking here. You just got to be careful on the brakes. I'll brake quite early here so I don't spin the car, but it's very easy for the rear to come around on you there. Quite easy to lock the rears. But you get up to the power nicely, in through this right and left. You want to brake around the pit line there, where you see those dotted lines. You want to brake around there to make the corner. Power on about midway through the corner, put a power out. Get as much power out as you go down towards this little stretch. Into the left we go. And heavy braking into this long right-hander. Get to the power, nice and early. These cars have built-in traction control, so you can kind of lay it on a little bit thick with the throttle. As you get the final corner of the infield. And then we rejoin for turn 1 and turn 2 for the NASCAR track. I'm not trying to commentate on here, you're just going to go all flat. You can see some battling through here. And then we go on to what I'd say is probably the most difficult corner on the track, or section of the track, this chicane down here. Heavy braking in, you want to make sure you hit every apex. If you get one of those first 2 wrong, it really sets you up badly for these ones. You get through there quite cleanly, probably quite slowly though. As we go through NASCAR turn 3 and 4. And then we go on the final stretch. Expect a lot of drafting, a lot of overtaking. into the turn 1, but that is a lap of the track, and I am now going to join the lobby. And let's talk about some of the storylines almost leading up into us. So the two previous championships have been won by Nick van der Gelder in Audi, and then Jensen Randall for Mercedes. The last two Daytona 2.4 hours were won by Vasilios Balesiostis. Sorry, I've absolutely butchered that. Okay, yeah, race director, cool. Yeah, and back in the LMP2 championship, that is, and Jeremy Pope for Porsche, it says here. So today's racers, you see them there, but we'll list out their names. So driving for Acura today, Sandro, Dion and Ren, followed by the three Mercedes drivers, which are Jensen, Louis and Dennis. Moving on to Ferrari with Samuel and Logan, for Audi, Nick and Max, and then for Lamborghini is Freddie. And then we have a reserve, which is Reese, so he will take whichever car someone isn't in. Let me just get the YouTube stream up so I can see the comments. So you've already got 3. Okay, that's alright. The stream's also corrected itself to say 2.4 hours. That's good. I guess someone else did that because I set up the stream for the wrong name. So, but yeah, this is gonna be a long one, as Sandro says. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this actually. To just commentate on. Again, I absolutely love this track so much. It's just such a thrill to drive. No matter what car it's in. Like, you know, it's a good range as well because you've got the heavy braking, you know, for the chicane. You've also got this long, sort of quite precise braking zone as well for turn 1. Just everything about this track for me just hits it nail on the head. Unfortunately, I've never driven an F1 car around here, but I'm sure if I got the right mod, well, got a PC, yeah, it would be extremely fun. But yeah, you see, we've got nearly everyone there, I think, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 drivers there. So still waiting on a few. For the checklist here that I've got, we should have 6, 8, 10, 11. So we're only missing one driver at the moment, from the looks of it, if I counted correctly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. So we only need one more driver at the moment. Onto the cars actually, because of course with F1 we have equal cars, and you know there's not really much difference other than the look really and the sound of the cars. With this though, it's all, you know, as much as you being a good driver, you've also got to know your car, and you've got to be able to make sure it's a good car. And I will say, out of all these cars that I've driven, I think maybe the Ferrari just edges out some of them. The Acura, because it has a bit of a longer wheelbase, it is quite nice to drive. I also think it's rear or mid-engine. Let me just have a look quickly on the. I think if I do, yeah, here we go. So let's have a look at the cars then. So we know we've got Acura. So the Acura, top speed 187 miles an hour. It's rear-wheel drive, 6-speed gearbox. Okay, Versa. Can we leave it in there? But yeah, from personal experience, I'd say the Ferrari's probably the best car there. I mean, I chose the Chevrolet there, but that's just because I use that in my other leagues as well. But I think the Acura and the Ferrari, they're similar shape, they're similar layout as well. So they are often quite nice to drive. I'll talk about the cars in a bit, you know, later, because we've got plenty of time to talk about this. 2 hours 25 minutes. That's what it is. I'm sure we have a qualifying because we've got free practice here, and because there'll be qualifying as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a long one. The F1 races, the 50% races last, well, not even 100% races last as long as this race. So it's gonna be a challenge. See how many drivers finish. To be honest, I'm not sure what the rules and regs are for this. But I will have a look on the Discord so I can see and talk about anything to do with the GT rules, as in, you know, the championship layout. And it's raining. It's raining for qualifying. Well then, already. There is in the Discord as an idiot. Oh no, there is, yeah. Where's GT? Right then, it's gonna be a bit weird to get used to this one. Is there a way I can hide the camera there, or not? Everyone currently in pits though. I don't know if they're assigning a setup. I'm assuming setups are allowed. Is it free practice though? Okay, so this is okay. Thank you. So the practice here. So schedule here. It is 10 minutes practice, followed by 10 minutes of qualifying, and then we go on to the 2 hours 25-minute race. I didn't know it was going to be that long, hence why I put it as the 1.5 hour. I would have got a drink ready. But we hear a car warming up. I think that sounded like an Acura. It's a Ferrari. I am stupid. But it is Logan. Very poor visibility from the camera view. We'll have a look on the cockpit here. It is a shame that we can't split. That's a good one. Overview, standings. Right then. Watching Logan here and this light rain conditions. But yeah, seeing how these guys do, because of course we know how quick they are in F1, but maybe there's a pace difference in project cars. You never know. Might see some people in F1 who aren't usually towards the front, you know, do well here. But of course, you know, looking at the previous race winners from the looks of it. Yeah, sorry, previous 2 championships, both Nick and Jensen have won. Sorry, Nick won the first season, Jensen won the second season. So, Sorry, it's getting used to the cameras. But we're going to watch Logan here in his practice session. We've got many others though. We've got Dennis, Ren there. Oh, thought Dennis spun. Dion going wide in the Acura. And then the lone Lamborghini. That's not an Lamborghini, that's an Audi. I'm an idiot. Sorry, I heard the car. I saw there's a Lamborghini. Where's the Lamborghini then? This is Freddie's only Lamborghini, but I can't see Freddie here. No, so there would be no Lamborghinis today then. Some cool cameras here actually. Of course, we hope that the race will be dry, to be honest, just because of visibility wise. It's much easier to see the cars. And then put my phone on charge quickly. Ooh, he's cut the chicane a little bit there. Hear that lovely V10 roaring. One of the best sounding cars, just we don't see anything there. Oh, God's sake. But Dion looks like setting a first lap there, 2:13.1. But Nick, I think, is on a lap himself. Let's go onto the cockpit cam. Samuel goes top with a 2:10.2. And Nick, I think that was his outlap. So, but yeah, we see Sam there in the Ferrari. Very nice and stable car. I was talking about the car a little bit earlier. As I said, from personal experience, the Ferrari I think is the best handling one. Oh, as he goes off, I think it's the best handling one. He hasn't got his wipers on, has he? Or is that is he not got a wiper button? How many people do actually? That's a good point. Oh, as we see Jensen. Oh, just about saving it through the chicane section there, and it sounds like he's got a car right up behind him. And it is. Who is it though? It's Ren. He's going outside, nice 2 wide. Maybe practicing a little bit for the race here. But epic though. Logan going top with a 150.8. Blitzing the competition. And Nick spins at the chicane there. Jensen going to put his first lap. You see about this for turn 1, how difficult it is trying to back the car in. You're just trying to find that balance of, you know, hitting the brakes enough before it stops, but also not enough for anything to lock up or anything to come round on you. As Ren goes second, 3.3 seconds off. It's quite a long track as well, and this is a game where it's not like F1 where the margins are very close as well. There's also these conditions definitely having a hand in the laps that we're seeing now, but of course it is practice. We don't have too much longer, I don't think, of practice. This was Jensen here. Sorry, wait, Max? No, we were watching Max. Just say Jensen was in the Merc. But yeah, that lovely sound on that V10. And see if Max is on a lap here. Oh, he was as well, and he's gone second quickest. Good lap there. As you see, there's a car off. That sounds like a Mercedes. Who is it? Oh, damage there for Ren. Not damage for Ren, sorry. Damage for... Oh, even more damage. Sorry, get off a few. That's big damage there for Dennis. And I think he spun again. Yeah, he has done. As we watch a different car going through that section there. And who's this down? Who's this coming towards the line? It's Ren. Ren, does he come into the pits? No, he doesn't. Keeps it flat. In the Acura, he always 8 tenths over. Behind him though, Jensen, completing his first lap of the race. And he goes 5th with a 2:02.6. Only 4 drivers currently sub 2 minute. So you watch Sandro now. Sandro really keen, saying this is going to be a long one, then saying let's go in the chat. Will he go amongst the sub 2 minute laps? He doesn't. With a 2:26, may have had a mistake on his lap. Oh, big crash there, Nick. Oh, lots of damage, lots of damage. What happened there? And I think he's had contact with Dennis. And I don't know what Dennis is doing there. I think it must be because he had the damage. Because he went, I mean, you saw how hard his front impact was a couple of times. That probably gave him some steering damage. As we watch the current session leader. 2 minutes off though, so I'm assuming he's either just come out the pits or something, or as Dennis pulled over on the side of the track. But yeah, it must be because of the damage. Yeah, he said, sorry for the collision, couldn't control my car anymore after the wall hit, sorry. Yeah, it's understandable, mate. Yeah, it's from personal experience, yeah, once you get that sort of steering damage, especially in these conditions, I don't know if it looks like there's some sort of standing water out on the track as well. So those puddles are absolutely killer, so yeah, it's completely understandable. But it's, you know, it's practice. If it was in the race, it would be different, but... As you watch Ren now come in. Down towards the line. Not going into the pits, is he? Nope. Goes straight past the pits. And does he put himself second place? He goes 2 tenths quicker, but not enough. Still 3 tenths off of that P3 position. There's another car going across the line, though, as we speak. Who is that? Okay, didn't see who that was. We'll watch Sandro now. Hopefully he's going quicker. Sees Delta, says he's 4 tenths up there. Oh, it's a lot more than 4 tenths, Jesus. 29 seconds up. He puts himself into P6 with a 156 then. So there's only 3 drivers who currently have not put a lap in the minutes, and why is that damage? Is that damage been fixed or? Oh, Samuel goes P6 with 155.4. Good lap there. And I'm surprised the damage hasn't been repaired here on Nick's car or Dennis's car. Of course, this is qualifying though, so not too much of an issue, I guess, at the moment. But as you watch Dion here, is he giving a slipstream, or we'll see the lights of the other car behind? There he is. Oh, he's going much higher. So can Dion improve? Good delta, 2 tenths up this time. It's at 156.5. He's gone 4 tenths quicker. Good lap there. Oh, that's. I think that was. Oh, brain's gone numb. That's Louis going quicker. Oh, look at this, Max. Having a battle here. A similar looking car. Get some nice shots here. So it's a 10 minutes practice, so I'm not sure how long we've got left of the session. Close. I think cars are starting to pit now, so I wonder if this is what happens in the session. You get skipped. I haven't been. Oh, Ren leaving the session, unfortunately. I hope he's got another invite. Okay, he said we'll restart the lobby because of practice time was accidentally put at 35 minutes, so we'll make a new one and continue on qualifying. Okay, thank you. But we're still watching these two going side by side here. Lovely roar of those two engines side by side. But Max goes into the pits. He's gone to the pit wall. Right then, while that is happening, I'm going to quickly get myself a drink. So, because it's going to be a long, long race ahead. So yeah, I will be back very soon. Okay, hello everybody, back. And as if you haven't seen in chat, the league account has said they're going to restart the lobby because the lobby was basically set up wrong. They put too much practice time in. So what they're going to do is continue on with qualifying instead. So if I have got an invite, I have not got an invite yet. But yeah. It was interesting to see what it was like in the wet. Of course, the times were fairly similar, you could say, but there was like those light rain conditions are not as bad as the heavy wet conditions because those can be utter carnage. Just because the aquaplaning is awful. Yes, it's not the best, but yep, new lobby as you see. Got no practice, but we've got 10 minutes of qualifying instead. But yeah, on to qualifying we go. Should be good. Same drivers as last time, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 9? Okay, we've got 9 drivers at the moment. I believe we are waiting for... There you go, Dion. And, of course, the weather and the forecast is random. Mandatory pit stop? No, of course. Forced cool down lap? Yes. I guess this gives us a chance as well to see the, see the leader and talk about them at the end of the race as well. Start type, rolling start. Oh no. The same with the weather as well, random for the weather. But we shouldn't be too far off. Getting ready now. 11 drivers in, and they're ready to go for the 10-minute qualifying session. Hopefully. Personally, I would love to see it run dry, just because I think it gives us a better chance to see the drivers go at their, at their maximum pace. As much skill as it takes to go in the wet, I do personally like to see some dry running, and also as a driver as well, I do prefer to drive in the dry, because the wet just is a little bit too unpredictable. But I guess that's where the drivers earn their money, as the saying sort of goes. But more drivers readying up now. It shouldn't be too long till we go green. Of course, as I said, rolling start, so that will form up. Doesn't look like there's a there to go. No formation lap, so they'll either take control of their car just before the start, or it will be all AI controlled until the lights go green, and then all you got to do is hit that, just go flat out basically, and then into turn 1. Turn 1 could see some crashes. There's a very good chance because with so many cars trying to get into that turn 1, it's very easy to happen. So yeah, possibly expect some, even if not crashes, maybe contact, maybe a spin or something. Cars maybe spinning by themselves, something like that. The most important thing is once you do spin, don't come back into the track. Otherwise, you're not only gonna, cause yourself more damage, you're gonna cause other people more damage, and yeah, it's easier said than done though, I must admit. When you do spin, your first sort of reaction almost is to try and save it, which oftentimes that's when it happens, when you can go into the track like that. But we're looking here now. Remember, random weather. What have we been? Also, what have the drivers been dealt with now? It's dry. Very nice conditions actually. And we are green for the session. And that's Logan coming out straight away. Jensen getting ready to go out. And so are many others. That lovely Lamborghini roar from the Audi. That's Max warming the tyres in the pit stop. It'd be great if they could have this in the F1 game where you could sort of come out by yourself. Because these people take it seriously. Oh, he's crashed into the wall already. Jensen has that given him any damage? Hopefully not. scuffed a little bit there, so I don't know how much damage that would give him, but it could be a whole lot worse. But unfortunate for him though, as Dion comes out the pits. But Logan, I think, is heading the rest. Is he? He's got damage as well on the front. What's happened to these lot? Are they all hitting the wall or something like that? Are they all hitting the wall? Is it like a customary thing for these guys, or? Yeah, again, hope that hasn't given him any steering damage, because that would almost certainly ruin your qualifying session. Also, it'd be interesting to see how much the slipstream comes into effect here, because you could see some teammates working together. Let's just watch Logan here. Taking it nice and easy. Want to keep your temps up in the car, but you also don't... Ooh, rear end look a little bit iffy there. But yeah, you want to go, of course, as smoothly as possible, so you don't end up scuffing the tyres too much, but then you also don't want to lose a lot of temperature in them as well. But we are going to be watching Jensen now, starting his first lap of the session. Sorry if you're slurping as I got coffee. Head down to turn 1. Can he keep it in nice and straight? Nicely done there. And through the little left-right section. Then heavy braking. Takes a wider line through there. Don't know if that was a mistake, but it seems to be the line that he liked there, unless that was sort of had to get, unless it was given to him because of late braking or something. But watch him go through the corner now. Heading into the final corner of the infield circuit. Around NASCAR turn 1 and turn 2 we go. So if you fancy a laugh, there's a brilliant video. I probably can't really play it over the mic here now, but it's so there's a YouTuber called Rents the Fence, and he sort of quite, unfortunately his uploads are quite inconsistent, but he used to sort of quite consistently upload sort of Twitch clips of the week from like iRacing, and one of my favourite videos is when they did the Daytona 24 hour, and of course it shows like the crashes, some of the spins, some of the sort of like quite funny moments from the race, from like the Daytona 24 hour that they did on iRacing. And there's a brilliant clip where they had one guy doing a Rusty Wallace impression as Jensen goes top of the 146.1. So as you see, there's quite a big pace difference between the conditions. As you watch another car coming across the line. Who's this? I think that is Logan. It's not, it's Max. Max going much quicker this time, 15 seconds quicker to be exact, 1.7 seconds quicker this time. And Dion now, I'll finish up the Reds Defense thing later, as Dion goes across the line. Oh, 5 thousandths off of Max's time. That is bloody close. As you watch Sandro here, he's got a car behind him. Sam just behind, and Sandro goes P4, but Sandro with the slipstream goes 4 tenths. So he's only 4 tenths off of Jensen. Good lap there, really good lap. Logan now with that damage, hopefully it hasn't affected him too much. He's gone 209.5. Let's go on board actually, because I want to see if he's having to counter steer at all. No, it looks fine. I don't know if it does it or not for the director camera, but like usually you'll be able to see any damage. As we see Nick going up into P5 and Dennis goes up into P7. Now we're watching Ren on his lap, and Ren going P5. Good lap there. And Louis, the only driver to not set a valid lap yet, And he's done it again. But Jensen goes top again. And he... Wait, is that an even faster lap? It is as well. 1.2 seconds quicker into the 45. The only driver to do so. Well then. Jensen looking the favourite in that Mercedes. Nice car that. I haven't driven that much actually, that Mercedes, I will say. I don't know what it's like to actually drive. I know it's very good in the straight line. It's one of the quickest cars I think in the straight line, depending on which one you use. Actually, that's the newer one, so I think it's a little bit slower. The fastest GT3, well, it's supposed to be the fastest GT3, is the one that Ren is driving. No, it's not Ren. The one that Dennis is driving there. It's the older version of the AMG GT3 car, but it has a top speed of 191 miles an hour, which is, I believe, the quickest in its class. However, there are many cars that go 189 but do it almost a bit quicker, and around a track like this you're not always going to get that maximum top speed, especially even down the straight. You know, they're geared almost more for the infield section, but you do make up a lot of time if you get, you know, if you have a good car in a straight line. You see Dennis braking for all the chicane, and he's lost it a little bit, almost saved it. Almost saves it again, but around it goes. He's got to take that bit of runoff. Oh, it's Dion. No, that wasn't Dion. Who was that? Someone just went up the leaderboard quite a bit. That was Ren, up to P4. Good lap there. And the thing is, Dion doesn't have to improve by much here to overtake Max. As long as he's in the green, really, for his Delta, he should be able to overtake Max. He doesn't, though. And I think I heard a crash somewhere. I heard the contact with something. We're going to watch Max though. If he's 5 thousandths ahead of Dion, he's looking to further that gap even more. Let's see what he does. He's 4.9 seconds off. Let's see, Sam Hayes, the closest to pole position in that Ferrari. That thing's screaming. Down the straight he goes. He doesn't know he's 400ths off. And Fly High saying, will it rain? I honestly don't know. The weather's on random, so there's no real way of knowing. I hope it's dry personally for the majority of the race, but maybe a little bit of rain, you know, in the middle will be interesting to see, because, you know, that's definitely going to dictate a lot, you know, because of course it's whether or not you want to come into the pits or not. You know, it's going to be a bit of a gamble, so it will be interesting to see what people decide to actually do. As we watch Nick in the Audi, 6/10 quicker, and he's much closer now. In fact, he's so close he overtook Sam as the rear overtakes him into turn 1. There's going to watch Ren here. It looked like he said he was green there. Don't know if that's a sector thing or not, but he's gone 3/10 quicker, but it's not enough. But Fly High, what conditions would you like to see? Would you want it to rain for entertainment, or would you sort of be more interested in having it dry or mixed conditions? You know, what would be your preferred sort of weather for the race? It's a long time, 2 hours 25 minutes, so there's plenty of time for conditions to change. As we watch Max here. Again, trying to go quicker than Dion. He can't though, he's 5/10 off. Speaking of Dion, he's in the middle sector at the moment. And qualifying is over though. So everyone who's currently on a lap, this will be the final lap. Max can't put another one in. Who's this behind? Who's this coming up to the line? It's Sam. Sam goes top! He goes pole position. Oh, sorry, provisional pole at the moment. Who's behind him though? Who's behind him? I didn't see who you... Someone just went past. Okay, that was Sandro. So Sandro will complete his lap there. But, wow. Sam pulling it out of the bag. Jensen, though, come through NASCAR Turn 1, 2 and 2. We'll come back to him in a bit. We've got Nick, though, in P3 at the moment. He's within a second. What is his delta at the moment? What's the saying? Can't really see it. It's a plus though at the moment. This is 4 tenths up, so 4 tenths slower this time round, and it's not going to improve. Jensen, again, NASCAR turn 1, turn 2, we'll switch back to him in a second, but we're on board with Louis now. Can't really see his delta because I've got the this block in the way. He's going to come across the line in P9. Dion coming across the P9. Sorry, he's P7 at the moment. Jensen, though, will he go quicker? Will he go top? He doesn't. Wait, no, he does. He does. Sorry, yeah, he goes pole by 10th. Wow, great lap there. Dennis, though, not gonna. I mean, he has set a lap, but it's going to be a lot slower than the rest. And unfortunately, just hasn't managed to get a clean lap in. And the fastest car in a straight line, he hasn't managed to do it. But, well, it's going to certainly be close between these two. Jensen in the Mercedes Brute with that lovely roaring V8 versus the V8 screamer of that Ferrari. Both of which fairly close on pace for two cars, which I'd say are, you know, different in terms of what they go for, but we see it there. And look at the sector times between the two, actually. Jensen, 3 tenths quicker in Sector 1. He then loses a tenth in Sector 2. And then loses 2 tenths in Sector 3. So, it's extremely close between these two. And you'd have to say, if Sam just cleaned up that Sector 1, he should have him. But, things aren't always like that. As we see, oh, the conditions are looking iffy. It's blizzard. That's snow. Well then, that is snow. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, I thought it would just be between. Wait, Dennis has been disqualified for a pit lane violation. You what? What's happened there? Are they not... What did he do? Was that because of the... I am very confused. Hang on, let me check the chats. That's a bit off. Let me quickly check the chats to see what people are saying, because... Oh, apparently Dennis saying he believes he chose back to Race Central by accident, so getting an invite. I will try to send you... oh, I don't know if I can. Can I? I don't think I can. Ah. Can someone, if anyone's watching the stream, can someone try to send... Dennis an invite, please. Chitty_17, all lowercase. It should let him join as long as the race doesn't. Oh no, I don't think it does. Hopefully they don't have to restart the lobby again. Oh, but we're going there. We're heading out now. See what they say in the chats. See what they say. But. We are green. We are go, go, go. And as they head down towards turn 1, will there be any crashes? Will there be any spins? They're still taking it quite easy, aren't they? Car going wide towards the back there. I think they've all made it through. I think they have done, but it's weird watching them race in the snow. Let's watch Max here, but we're going to focus on the leaders. Jensen. Pole position, still in the lead, but pulling away a little bit. There's a spinner at the back. There's a spinner at the back. Who was that? That looked like it's Dion, is it? No, it's not. It's Sandro. Ah. Oh, that's a shame. Hopefully he's able to move that back up. But look at this. Sam and Nick already battling here. Can they give each other the room? Oh, he's squeezing him a little bit there. Come on. And they chose, if they stay side by side, oh, there could be very easily being a crash here. Oh, they're getting so close to each other. As they head now down into the chicane, will they all make it? No, Nick doesn't, and neither does Sam. They both cut the cross. They might get a slow down penalty, I think, there. Well, not slow down penalty. If you don't know how it works in Project Cars 2, what they have to do is they have to lift off and essentially lose the time that they gained by, you know, cutting whatever they did, or they get a penalty. I think it's a second penalty, I think it is, if you do not lose the time required within a certain amount of time. But look at this, there's 4 cars here battling for P2. Surely not. Yeah, no, there was no way that was going to happen. Oh no, and you feel bad for Nick there. You feel so bad for Nick. Around he goes. Oh, they tried to make it 3 wide. You cannot go 3 wide there. It's not as simple as that, especially on this game as well, where the contact is so sensitive. As Sam sent it up the inside there of Louis. Right behind them is Max, watching this battle. And the wiper going insane there. Is Sam getting forced backwards now? As you watch those two going side by side. No, they're not going side by side, sorry. Oh, but Sam's gone wide and Max trying to get up the inside, but it's just not enough grip. Jensen though, 2 seconds ahead of Louis. Only got Sam. Sam having, I'm assuming he doesn't use an onboard, because if you're trying to drive with that visibility, that's going to be awful. Sam, yet again, going wide. Speaking of, Max does as well. Ren making up a lot of time here to Max. He might be able to get him by turn 1. As you watch these guys up in front now, sorry, up ahead I should say. Sam closing onto the back now of Louis. Oh, surprisingly close racing even in these conditions. As they go side by side into the corner, car go deep there. I think that was Sam, it was. Don't know if he was pushed into that mistake there or not, but that's how it's happened. Jensen though has lost his lead a little bit. 7 tenths have gone since I last had a look. But Louis though. Oh, Sam cutting across there. Big mistake at the chicane. That's not confusing, is it? Those two in the same car. Let's look at Jensen up in front. If anyone's watching actually that knows, what does the warning sign next to the name mean? Does that mean it's a penalty, or? I'm assuming it does, but I don't know, because I think there were some cars that might have got theirs like theirs disappeared or something. I don't know, but I think it's penalty and not like a warning. Oh, and Jensen goes wide, but so does near enough everyone else. But he's lost a lot of time. Actually, sorry, I don't think anyone else went wide. I think he's just gone wide, and everyone else has sort of just gone, hang on, we need to catch up to him there. It's looked like there was contact between Max and Louis. And now, the battle for the lead has invited everyone else in. Jensen now still in the lead, trying to increase that gap that he's got. But let's check up on Nick, see how he's doing. He's just off the edge of this pack, I think. So if he puts in a couple good laps, he might be able to catch up to Ren and then try and make an overtake. Sancho, of course, he spun early on, and he's quite far back at the moment, which is, you know, quite unfortunate to see. Let's go 3 wide towards the back here. Oh, last time that happened, that didn't work very well. As Logan on the back of this battle here. As Jensen's gone wide. Wait, what happens to Jensen? Jensen's gone wide again. Turn 1 just seems to be his kryptonite. He's quicker everywhere else, but he just keeps going wide there. As there looks like possibly contact between Leon and Louis, but looks like they're fine. They've just been very close, not to contact at all, but it's just nice view here. Get to see how they run into this long braking zone. It's extremely important not to lock up. As they go into the turn here. Oh, might have been contact there, don't know, but Max gets up to the inside of Logan and he's got the move done. Ooh, hello, that's Logan making a move on Max, but he's gone wide and he spun. Logan spun out. Oh, into the wall he goes as well. That's damage. That might be suspension damage. Looked like he went in quite hard. We'll see how. Oh, that was close. But now, can Max close in to Louis by the end of the straight? Doesn't look like he's closing in much, if at all. Yes, you know he's closing a bit now. Slipstream's starting to pick up. I don't think he'll have him by turn 1. Depends what he's like on the brakes. We've seen Jensen go off here, and his teammate almost did, but Max does go off. Will Jensen survive? It looks like he has. Yeah, he does there. Oh, there we go. Quite slowly an entry there. Oh, contact. Max getting into the back of Louis. And Max now looks like the quickest driver on track at the moment. He's fighting for the lead. Oh, as you hear this lovely crackle from the cars. But what we're interested in is the lead here. And Max has taken the lead. At the moment though, look, he's trying to give it a bump draft almost, standing. I've tried that in this game. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Depends what cars you're in. But always going to the side of him on the sprint tree. And Louis got past it, but he's going to get around the outside of him. What a move from Max there. I think Louis just went in too slowly. He just tried to almost block pass him. But he's ended up, I think, losing a bit more time than he would have wanted. They are still clear, though, of third place. Which is Sam at the moment, but good racing those from those two. Could have very easily been a crash there. And Louis now. Oh, I was about to say he was going to go off the outside, and now Max has spun. Max has spun round. He's in the lead for barely a lap. And he's already spun, and now Jensen trying to make up positions as they go side by side still. Max just ahead though. Can he get him on the brakes? Oh no, Ren looking for the inside though. Who's that off? Was that Logan? Or Sam? No, Sam. That was Sam off. What the hell? So Jensen making up 2 positions already this lap. For both people making mistakes. And he's got Ren behind him who we wanted to make up some positions. But Max making that mistake, it means that your race leader, with 2 hours 12 minutes to go, is... wait, hang on. Max made a mistake there, I think. That's a lot of time, but yeah, your race leader at the moment is Louis. And sorry for the message at the top. So I've got nothing really interesting to say at the moment. But this track's interesting though with the conditions, because oh, that's Louis coming into the pits. Does he speed? Looks like he's got to slow down the time. Gives it a quick little burst before he goes into the pits for the first pit stop of the race. Oh, he's missed his pit stop. He's actually missed his pit stop, and that's going to make him slow down even more. And that looks like they are repairing the car, and they only gave him fuel from the animation. Don't know if they actually did anything with the tyres, so he should get going soon. But it means that your race leader at the moment is Max, who's 3 seconds ahead of Ren, who has actually got past Sam. And speaking of Sam, he's going backwards a bit here. Nick now trying to take his P3 from him. Ren's starting to actually make up some time a little bit here, but Sam goes deep. Sam goes very deep and I think just about avoids the wall. And Ren now coming, so not Ren, Louis coming out of the pits. Just saw 2 cars go side by side there, as we see. That's what I was talking about. Sam going side by side with Jensen through NASCAR 1 and 2. Heavy braking into the chicane. Ooh, doesn't look like Jensen's going to make it. He doesn't. Oh, no, just about. Just the way he was coming into that corner looked way too, like, just looked way too quick. Let's see, will anyone choose to pit as well? That, to be fair, it was only a Mercedes that pit, and those Mercedes with those V8s are absolute gas guzzlers. But it doesn't look like anyone will choose to do the same as Louis. Let me just get the track map up quickly, just so we can keep an eye on where these guys are. as you watch Nick starting to close in now on Logan. He's going to try and ease off a little bit here. Oh, car's going wide. Logan's gone round. I think he has done. Logan has gone round. And Logan going backwards now, back down to P6. In fact, he's going to... Yeah, he might get overtaken by Leon here. Who's gone wide there? That was one of the Ferraris. I think it was Sam there. There's a good picture if you're a fan of the Ferraris there. Go side by side in the blizzard, which just doesn't make sense. I think I don't know what the weather's set to actually. Again, if someone in chat can try and let me know what's the weather set to in terms of slots, because if you don't know how the game works, if you look behind, cars going off track at the chicane. But yeah, if you don't know how the game works, what they do is they have 4 slots for the weather, and if you put it in random, then it means that over the entire race there will be 4 different weather types. I'm assuming that comes in quarters, of the time. So you do the math, do 25% of 2 hours 25. That's what you essentially get. Sorry, that's how long each one will be. Is this contact between Sam and Dion? Dion somehow coming off worse there, even though he made contact. And the back of Sam and the Acura's, it's not going too well for 2 of them. The only Acura that's sort of up the field is Ren at the moment, who's in second place, trying to close the gap to Max. Oh, Ren making a mistake there. And has the snow stopped? It has not. So light snow. And the one driver with a warning next to them, is that like an actual warning then? Is that like if they go off track or something, or they exceed track limits, they get like I know they get the slowdown thing, but I'm assuming that's what the warning is. I feel like it would say, if you got a penalty or something next to it, like the F1 game. So what does he get? What does Jetson get one for there? I don't understand it. Because the triangle came up when he was going down the back straight, so going down the straight towards the chicane. So what are you going to get a warning for there? I don't particularly understand it. As we watch, well, sort of watch, Logan closing in on Jensen, moves to the inside. There's barely enough space. He goes down under the yellow line. If that was NASCAR, it'd be illegal, but he's got the move done into turn 1. But Jensen says, no, I'm taking that position back. I don't remember Nick being that close. He might have made a mistake. Ooh, as Logan going a little bit deep there. And Max is pulling ahead of Ren. And they're pulling ahead quite nicely. There's a nice little gap here, battle here though, between Nick, Jensen and Logan. Going cockpit cam, why not? Is that raining now? That's not snow, is it? Oh, it is snow. I think it's just weird because you haven't seen it. Like through the corners there, you couldn't see it, but as soon as you get on the straight, you start to see it. Whoa, every break in there. That Rolex sign, I think, is when you're supposed to pit. So not pit. When you're supposed to brake. It's Jensen going a little bit off there. I would also be interested to know how many of these guys are controller players as well, because on controller this game is so difficult. I've tried it in the past, and I think just the handling model really doesn't work that well for controller unless you really get used to it. You really sort of, you know, not grind the game, but you know, you play it almost non-stop, I guess. Like, you just got to learn it as much as you can. As we look up front though, sorry, up ahead, Jensen looking for the inside on Neek. He's got the inside line. Has he got the move done? Looks like he has. Yep. Neek just behind. Speaking of just behind, here they are. Neek trying to get, well, what was the inside? It's now the outside. He shuts off here. He knows better. There's still 2 hours left. Into the corner they go. Sandro with a warning there. Let's see what Neek does into the chicane. Will he try a move or something? Can't see it happening. So down a little bit more for that corner than Jensen. Jensen running a little bit wide on the exit. And Max, an absolute world of his own here. 7 seconds ahead. Now, we can see Neek starting to close in a little bit more on Jensen. Jensen is that a Lat's car in front? I believe that is not. No, it's not. Oh, hello. Oh, mistake there from Logan. He's dropped way off the pack now. And sorry, it was Ren. He's fallen back. I mean, yes, Max is quick, and you know, of course, it's completely deserved. You know, that he's that far in front, but also I think the gap may have been sort of changed around a little bit because of Ren dropping back. Could we see some pit stops come into play? Has to be the fastest lap currently set by Jensen, 1:54.1, similar to the wet times. Let's see what's Jensen now making a move for P2, season 2 champion, gets the move done. That's just 54.5 that lap. Oh, wait, that's current lap, so that's last lap, not yeah, as Jensen goes wide, Ren going to try and get the move done, and there's always contact with Neek as well. Oh, don't touch that grass, it's extremely slippery. And now it's Neek's turn to have a go at Ren. Ideally, you almost want to get the move done before turn 1, so that you don't have to, you know, risk it on the brakes. You just want to be comfortable by yourself on your own, just like Max at the moment, who's running away with this. Are we into lightning now? Or was a big flash there? Are we into lightning? Unless that was something else, I'm getting confused, but... Oh, it's Neek! Gets the inside on Ren. He switches down to cover off any attack from Jensen, who's just behind. Now he's got the car, slipstream of 2 cars. Oh, seen Neek jumping around a little bit. Gets the inside. I need someone else here actually, it's a bit it's a bit dead in the commentary box at the moment as we watch this sort of being the only battle out on track at the moment. I think that is lightning, because look, you see the, looks like the blizzard has sort of stopped here, but now the blizzard has turned into rain. Actually, no, to be fair, it's a bit of a drier track. They might pit soon for different tyres, but I keep seeing flashes every now and again, though, as Ren gets onto the grass, not green, gets onto the grass. And that was a bit close. But Max, though, a commanding lead at the moment. 9 seconds in front. At the moment, no one can touch him. We've got the battle towards the back, so for second place at the moment. But that's screaming V10. Wow. You see Logan starting to catch up to this battle here, up in front. Ren in the lead at the moment. So Ren P4 at the moment. Oh, is he back? What was that? What happened there? Did he back off down the straight or something? It should be fine. I don't know what the track conditions are like. It looks wet, I guess. Like, oh, Ren cutting the track a little bit there. He's going to have to be careful into the next corner because Logan's going to want to go at him. But he's gone off track, and Logan doesn't really have to challenge him much. All he's got to do is make the corner himself. You see that rear light out on, or one of the rear lights out on Logan's car, because of course he ended up spinning. But luckily he's managed to drive his way back up to the front. I'll go on board with Neek here. You can see it's still blizzard from the outside. It doesn't look too much or too bad, but it's still going. As they head down towards the... What corner chicane would you call this? I mean, is it the Rolex chicane, or would you just call it the chicane? I mean, the Rolex sponsor's there, but I don't know if there's really any corner names. Again, I call it NASCAR 1, 2, NASCAR 3, 4, stuff like that, but like, is there any actual proper set in stone names? You know, like cops or something, you know? As they head down the home straight. Strangely, the only driver that's pitted so far is Louis. I don't know if there's anything about... I haven't seen anything yet about tyres, about fuel, anything like that, but yeah, I can't really see anything on the speedo anyway. Like Nico's going deep there. Actually, I think he made the corner a lot better there. He's gone sort of a bit deeper, but he squared off the corner really nicely, and he should have a good run on Jensen by the time they get. Is it a mixture? Because it looks like the blizzard sort of, it's still sort of showing almost the blizzards there through the corners. Is it fully switched now, or? So I'm seeing the flashes of lightning, unless that was just the two weathers sort of coinciding. I think it is lightning now. I think it's a light storm or just a thunderstorm or whatever the weather's called. The rain's clearly not. The rain's enough to make the track wet, but it's not enough for it to really impact things too much. It would be interesting to learn after the race why Louis did pit when he did, considering everyone else has stayed out much longer. And, to slag off the GT racing, but a little bit different to F1, isn't it? By now we would have had a safety car, some sort of crash probably. Good side-by-side racing. So far we've had good side-by-side racing, but no safety cars, no. We'll have had a few crashes, had a few spins. But of course it's a different type of racing. You know, F1 I'd arguably say takes a bit more skill, a bit more precision. But the races are much shorter compared to this, where it's, you know, about 2.5 times the length. Oh, Sneak loses it. On the brakes there. I think it's quite easy to do. And it looked like he tried to switch to the inside, but of course you're on the brakes and it's a trail braking. It's quite easy to lock up. But Max though, I mean, what a lead from Max. I've raced alongside him a few times in different leagues. Had a very mixed experiences with him, but you can't fault him at the moment, can you? And whatever he's doing, he's going to have to keep doing it, because he's doing an excellent job out in front. I was about to say the cars are sort of spread out here, but Jensen and Nick, I think, are going side by side near enough. That's, you know, 4/10. 4/10 covering those two now, but they might go side by side through the chicane here. Jensen using as much curb as possible. As Jensen goes off track, he's going to have to get back on track before he hits the brakes, otherwise it's going to go off. Ooh, rear end looking a little bit wondering there from Nick. But even though they were very close, there's nothing. And hey, look, Sam into the pits now. And I don't think that was scheduled, because they're only just coming out. The fuel goes in, and the tyres go on. No, they don't. Maybe pitting for repairs, but maybe just be fuel. Don't know what the settings are. Again, if someone in chat can try and let me know what the settings are for this, then be good to know. But Sam getting car repaired, but they are fueling it actually as well, I think. They're trying to tell from the animation. And there he goes. Jensen now. Started closing on Nick. And he might get a warning there. Looked like he used a bit of grass on the exit. Should hear the doo. I guess it's tell him to slow down. Maybe not. Thought the warning would come up, but yeah. See some of the cars flashing the lights as they come through. NASCAR 3 and 4. And that is Epic closing in on Jensen quite a bit there. Does he go for the outside? He tries. I think he looked like he was getting on him a bit there, but Jensen just moving out a little bit. It's quite easy to make contact, especially into that corner where you're almost worried about yourself rather than other drivers sometimes. But yeah, endurance, as I was saying earlier, endurance racing very, very different. A lot of it's about preservation. You know, you can't always go through gaps that are there because, especially with the what's it called? Just especially because of the damage on this game as well. It's very easy for your day to end badly, and if you do get a lot of damage as well when you go into the pits and you fix it, it can be upwards of a minute sometimes when they repair it. Interested to see if anyone decides to pit as well soon. Again, I guess I don't know if it depends on people conserving or it depends on the car itself. But as we watch Jensen yet again having to defend from Leon having a crack, but just can't get past. Really going on the track at the moment, but if the battle does start to occur, then I will flick across to it. But let's watch the leader. Watch the leader now, though. I think he's actually closing on Sam, who would be the first lapped car of the race. There you go, that's the best laps of the race there then. Fastest lap of the race set by Logan with the 152.5. And there you see there, a 10-second time penalty for Louis. I'm not sure what that was for, maybe speeding the pits or something. As we're on lap 22. And we still have an hour and 43 remaining. we go, cockpit cam here on Jensen, as you're going to watch him start to close in on Nick. Oh, both trying to take it careful there, but both of them running off track. Sorry, I missed that. Just checking chats. Jensen takes the lead. So takes second place. Ooh. Leon's starting to close in a little bit here. Might be a lot closer by the end of the straight. We've got three quite different cars here. They definitely drive differently. Of course, the actual layout, I guess, of the cars, so the Audi and the Ferrari, fairly similar. Both mid-engined, rear-wheel drive. Of course, however, one powered by V10, one powered by V8. And I think Mercedes is probably the heaviest. It just looks, maybe that's just because, again, maybe that's just because of the way it looks, rather than, you know, what's actually in it to make it that heavy. But Ferrari is quite poor actually for acceleration. I know the first gear is quite a long gear. I know off of sort of standing starts, it can be quite, you know, it tends to bog down quite a bit. You know, it's quite difficult sometimes for it to sort of really get going compared to other GT3 cars. See Logan going a little bit wide there. Oh, Nick and Jensen going side by side into the chicane. Jensen can't make the corner, but neither can Nick actually. He's forced Leon to check up in the middle of the chicane there. And Max, that lead's still very daunting for anyone behind. And even though there's an hour and 40 still left, you have to say that the win could be his. And with an hour and 40 left as well, that's probably F1 race time now, so you can imagine Crofty saying, lights out and away we go for insert Grand Prix here. Pack starting to spread out a bit more here. We could see our first lap car pretty soon. Max Mulder starting to close in on the back of who is that? That is Sam, who is quite far back off his pit stop. Must have had quite big damage then for him to be so far back. Must admit, not much going on at the moment unless there's a battle I'm not really picking up on, but I can't really see much in terms of especially the gaps as well. Yeah, you know what, let's go on board with Nick here. Assuming he's using this view. Watch Nick going off, and Nick's going to go into the wall. Nick's into the wall. How much damage has he got? Oh, you saw coming through the chicane. The rear end just stepped out, and these conditions as well, it's so difficult to catch it. Let's have a look at track side. You surely will have a bit of rear damage. Go chase cam. Can't really see much. Maybe when he comes past here we'll just see not much damage from the looks of it. It was a sort of a rear impact, so hopefully it won't be as bad as it could be, but everything's spread out at the moment, really. Not much to sort of look at, especially after Nick's mistake there. As this rain persists, with an hour and a half left to go. And you can hear the Ferrari of Sam just in front of Max there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some maybe cars pitting for fuel or something now. Surprised there's no fuel. Well, it feels like there's no tyre depletion almost in terms of like grip. I don't know if it's just because they're using wet tyres or something, but it's a bit weird that they're not really seeing much in terms of the tyre wear. And Cito's Demon saying with those safer barriers are definitely saved from more damage here. I think he also is quite lucky with the impact, I guess. I guess the side-on impact isn't too bad. I mean, you can, I guess if you go side-on like that, sometimes the sort of slapping motion almost against the wall can give you a bit of steering damage, but yeah. He's definitely a lot luckier than some of the other drivers who've had to pit, I guess, for a bit more damage, or actually no, I don't think anyone's had any really serious damage, or at least we haven't seen. Samuel was pitting for quite a long time, and it looked like it was for damage for a lot of it, which is why he's so far back at the moment. The two guys that are pitted are in P9 at the moment, if you don't know. P7, Sandro there, he what was it? He spun on lap 1, or got taken round at lap 1, and he's sort of just been there almost ever since. I think he's sort of been in no man's land the whole time, unfortunately, for this 2 and a bit hours. So, but there's still an hour and a half left. We started at 2 hours 25. We're now down to an hour and a half. And of course, these guys aren't exactly new to it. I mean, some of them may be new to it, but good lap times though. I'm assuming from Max here in the 55s, amongst the quickest in the whole race. In fact, Jensen is the only driver to be in the 55s with him on that last lap, I believe. In fact, let's see when he crosses the line. What will he be? 55.4. He's on Max's pace. Nick setting a 56 flat there. And then Logan with a 1:56.4. Another 55 there for Ren, actually. Ren, third quickest on track at the moment. If you go off of that last lap. Only driver you know who's epic. How do you know him? What, have you raced with him, or are you sort of friends with him, or are you in this like a same league? Oh, hang on, it's starting to get a little bit tasty back here, looks like it. It's been cool to see Daytona road courses for a road course for a change, yeah. I mean, I guess I only know that only league that I know that you're in really is N5R, and of course, you know, you'll be doing the full oval. This is mutual discords, okay. But yeah, Daytona road course, as I said earlier, it's probably I'd say it's one of my favourite tracks. If you go for this game as well as at Louis pitting again. And Phil going in again. But yeah, I think I think if you were to pick top 3 best tracks on this game, in my opinion, I'd go Daytona road course. Mate, I like Texas, to be honest. I think it's a really cool sort of track. And then I'd say Bonocqua as well. I think that's an amazing track because it's just so unique, and I love the final sector as well. But it always feels like you're on the edge around Bonocqua. It feels like, you know, one mistake and you'll be off into the grass, into the wall. You know, there's so many great memorable sections of that track, and I absolutely love it. I'd love to do like an endurance style race around there, because I feel like it would be a track, you know, with this you've got plenty of runoff. In Bonocqua there's barely any runoff. It feels almost more like I mean, it is a street circuit. And Cesar seems in you raced with you raced with Lily, okay. race him Sundays? Is that part of like an F1 league, or is that something else? So there's only like 2 or 3 leagues I think I know that race on Sundays. And I believe that Louis, with that pit stop as well, is now the only driver to go a lap down. And at the moment, though, there's unfortunately a good possibility that we could see Sam getting lapped as well, because where is Max? Is he only just behind him? Yeah, he is. He could get him on pace, but actually the drivers are starting to get into the 54s now. Actually, that was the 55-2 that lap, though. Yeah, F1. Okay, is that NRL F1, or is that a different? Because I know is it Genus Esports or something, I think, as well, race on Sundays. Might be another league that I'm missing out on. Ooh, is Max rear end starting to step out a little bit there? Rain maybe starting to get to him, but you can see Sam there. Maybe have a bit of a, when you're in the lead like that, you know, it's quite easy to make mistakes, but maybe having that sort of almost visual keynote there, almost, and it could maybe be a little bit important, you could say, to like, sort of keep your focus, because you see that car in front of you and you're thinking, you know, maybe I could try and sort of get to him, not, you know, to the point where you're pushing, you know, when you're going to spin or you're going to make a mistake, but enough where you're not going to all of a sudden lay off and start losing punches of time, especially when you've got someone like Jensen behind, who, you know, of course, was Season 2 champion, and he's one of the few drivers to actually be matching anyone on times. In fact, the only person that's actually gone quicker than them, if you go off that last lap, was Sam with a 155 flat. So there's, you know, a good chance that actually Sam's got decent pace there, actually. Same goes for you race within NASCAR. Oh, okay. Actually, in NASCAR, where were we next week? Because I know we had Fontana last week, so I don't know. Sorry, a bit of a brain freeze there, just trying to think where we're racing next week. Oh, Dega. Oh. That's gonna be interesting. Actually, that'll be. I'm not. Ooh. In fact, Talladega's quite. It's fairly similar. If you don't know what Talladega is fairly similar to Daytona in certain ways, in the fact that it's sort of the same sort of layout. But I think Dega's a bit more daunting, because Daytona, I feel like you can be a little bit nicer. you could be a little bit, I don't know, it just feels a bit more tame. Talladega, though, it feels very intimidating whenever I've driven it, and it feels a lot more strategic, because you always have to put yourself at the right place at the right time to try and make a move for the lead. So it's going to, I imagine there'll be quite a few cautions as well, just from people trying to give bumps and trying to, yeah, just trying to be sensible almost with it. But I haven't practiced actually for that. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking at, I must say, I do like the calendar for N5R this season. It looks quite good. And speaking of calendars, actually, as well, the calendar as well for this season for the International GT3 Championship, which is, you know, this looks quite good as well. There's a good mix of tracks. Personally, I think if you look at the whole calendar, I think this is probably my favourite track out of all of them. Let me just quickly see if I can get the calendar up here. I do have it. Here we go. So round 1, who are here for the 2.4 hours at Daytona. Followed by round 2, which is at Imola. Great track, but it's going to be difficult for GT3. So I know I've personally found it quite more of a challenge. Then we go to the Nürburgring for the 1.5 hours of Nürburgring. Then we do the 2.4 hours of Spa. Then we go to, actually, that's another track, actually. If I were to say top 3 tracks, maybe I'd take Texas out of it. Oschersleben, I think, is a really great track. That's round 5. I remember doing it on the old PS2 games and really loving it, but never really found it anywhere else. Same with a few other tracks. I think Adelaide was on that game as well. Another great track. The Norris Ring, great game actually for the PS2. I wish it get remastered. Then you got the GT3 1.5 hours at Portimao, which is round 6, and then the final round of the season is there's no time, it doesn't say a time here, but it's Zolder. Zolder is the final race of the season. And yeah, it looks like a good calendar. There's a good amount of tracks on here, on the game, so they do have quite a bit of choice and even different variations of tracks as well. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the chat. So yeah, T-Test Demon saying Talladega's wider, faster, and a bit longer, and finish lanes after the pits. Yeah, that creates an interesting dynamic as well, like with it being off the pits, because of course you see it here in, I guess the best way to describe it for any non-NASCAR fans is, so you watch Max here, as long as this when he goes into the pits and I look stupid. Okay, no. So when Max comes across the line here, this is where it usually is for a NASCAR track. However, for Dega, or Talladega, it's out of this corner, and I'd say it's about there, maybe. So as you start turning in, it's sort of just about there, which creates a bit, it's quite interesting, because then it gives you a little bit of extra time to try and position your car, try and, essentially get a run. And of course, the track starts to open up a little bit as well onto the runoff, where you can sort of go to, I don't know, I guess avoid crashes is probably the best thing to do, but yeah, it makes things quite interesting. I've done, no, actually no, I haven't done a league race around there, but I've done a couple sort of races on, like, like single races, or done races with friends around there, and it's definitely a bit interesting trying to enjoy it properly. They race every Saturday. What, for this league? Yeah, they do. They sort of take it in turn. Well, yeah, they take it in turns. So if I quickly get the schedule up, which I was sent last week. Yeah, so here's the schedule for the next few weeks. So GT3 USA yet today. So next week, so 2 weeks. Yeah. So 2 weeks from today, on the 13th of November, is F1 at Australia, which should be quite interesting. Then the week after that, on the 20th of November, is F1 at Spain. Then we have a week after that, on the 27th of November, they have F1, sorry, the GT3 at Italy, it was Imola, so that's round 2 of the GT3 Championship. Then we have F1 at Netherlands, which is 2 weeks after that, on the 11th of December. And then the week after that, we have F1 at Silverstone on the 18th of December. So yeah, they race every Saturday, but it sort of almost, I guess you could say it takes turns. It's kind of like staggered, because there's only 7 races in the GT3 season. It means, like, I guess they do less, so they do maybe 2 or 3 F1 races, and then yeah. CTF's even saying Australia on my birthday. Yeah. 5 saying, can I race at Imola? Honestly, I'm not the person to ask. If you want to find out about, trying to reserve or trying to race, at Imola, all you got to do is contact SRL F1 on the Instagram. It is literally, that is their Instagram account, SRL_F1, and that is the account for the official SRL F1 Racing League. But they do a Project Cars 2 League of course as well, hence why we're talking about it now, commentating on it now. And Max is actually closing in now on Sam, might be about to lap him on track, but Max absolutely blistering out in front here. 54s, 55s consistently for him, that's pretty much the ballpark time, and he's doing it perfectly. Is there a car in the pits? Who is that? Strange. Wait, did someone retire? So I haven't seen that come up. But who's... Sorry, I don't want to be stupid here. Who's gone? There was 9 drivers in there. So it's got Max, Jensen... Oh, there you go. Oh, it's Louis. Oh. Well, now there are only 8 drivers left with an hour and 20 left. And now Max starting to close in. Actually, no, sorry, Teleclight, he's overtaken Samuel, and now he's just got to close in on Sandro, who sort of dealt a bad hand, as I said earlier, dealt a bad hand at the start of the race by getting spun round or spun by himself, and surely he's got to move over here for the leader. He's defending quite harsh, actually. As he doesn't know, but yeah, unfortunately Louis has gone. I don't know if that was because of his penalty. He did have a 10-second time penalty, but I don't know how much it really would have affected him. But yeah, unfortunately he has left the session. So we are about to approach the halfway mark. 1 hour 12 is about the halfway mark. And Max doing extremely well at the moment. And, for people watching, what would you say is your top 3 favourite tracks then on Project Cars 2? Because of course, as I listed off the calendar earlier, I think they've done a brilliant choice. I think they're also quite realistic. They could easily have gone for some really mad tracks, but you know, of course, there are limitations as well. But at the same time, though, they've made it, you know, realistic in terms of the choice of the tracks. You know, you go into something like, you know, iRacing or even, you know, Assetto Corsa Competizione. A lot of the tracks that they've picked are on that game, except namely this one, but they have got a few American tracks on that game. But if you do have, you know, Project Cars 2, what would you say your 3 favourite tracks are? You know, there are definitely some really good tracks. Even some of the rallycross tracks are really fun to do. Some of the shorter tracks as well. As both Logan and Ren into the pits, making this could be their only stop. Actually, they could just be fueling up and going. Maybe to do the setup as well. Maybe they were some of the few to actually sort of have a setup almost, like where they fuel the car up. And I'm sure that's just them repairing the damage. That's Logan going now. He might get overtaken here by Dion. And he will. Dion getting past both of them. But Ren finally got his car repaired. He's actually gone down to P8, I think. He might go last. But I don't know if... I know Sam's pitted, but I don't think Sandro has yet. See, Steven's saying he doesn't play Project Cars 2, but Watkins Glen, Austria and Monza are his favourite tracks. A lot of straight line tracks there. So I think Monza's a really iffy one, because I do like it because it's usually fairly good for racing, but it's to chicanes. I just can't. Ascari's very difficult. I can't really. Like, I know the technique. I know what you have to do. You know, in a lot of classes, it's almost get all the braking done on on the way to turn 1, and it all depends almost on that first corner for Ascari, because if you mess up that, then there's a very good chance that you're going to mess up the second one and even the third one. So it takes a lot of skill, I think, for that section. But it's an interesting track though as well, because you've got to try and go for the chicanes as quickly as possible, but also enough to the point where you're carrying enough speed for the straights, because there are so many long straights. Austria's I don't mind Austria. Long breaker zones are usually pretty good for overtaking, but I don't really like about Austria is maybe just, again, it's quite exit heavy, and traction zones aren't exactly my forte, especially on the F1 game in F2 cars or something, where like you have to be, because it's so risky in the throttle sometimes, it's quite easy to spin up or do something stupid. I know when we had our race here in Austria for SRL F1, I know Dion spun coming out of turn 2, which is a bit sketchy, but the long breaker zones can sometimes be a bit of a burden as well. It's great in the F1 game because you can just hit the brakes and sort of change lines and all that, but on Project Cars 2 though, it's very easy to lock up when you're sort of changing lines and changing changing lines for the corner. So it's kind of like you pick a line and you kind of have to go for it, because those sort of sharp moves on the wheel can often cause accidents. Watkins again, brilliant track. I think it's really fun. I love the uphill section that leads you up towards the bus stop. It's really fun. I've done it in, of course, NASCARs, but also rallycross cars are really fun. Like, you can really chuck it in if you like sort of just slam onto the brakes. It pitches the car out, and then you just got to sort of be careful of the throttle a little bit and sort of use the clutch to kind of manage it a little bit and also get the revs up. And you can really fire away at the corner. Like, it's really fun to do in rallycross cars. Would you say you prefer the shorter one, or like shorter version, or the shorter version or the longer version? I kind of prefer the shorter one, just because I think because I used to watch NASCAR, they always use that, so I kind of got used to that. And the longer one just is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit meh. There's Max here, closing in on, who's that? Is that Epic? No, it's not. That is Sam. Okay. I think if I were to push the boat out in, say, like 3 favourite tracks, like overall, which I'm assuming is what you've chosen there, C-Tice, I'm gonna say I really like Misano, like the MotoGP track. Misano, the was it the it's the Marcus Simoncelli circuit, I guess they would call it. I think that's great. I know AlphaTauri use it as a sort of a testing circuit. It's what they do for a lot of their filming days. They use it for like superbikes, MotoGP. They use it for GT racing. It looks really cool, and especially the sort of back section where it has these really fast rights. In an F1 car, that would be absolutely insane to do. Like, it'd be really fun, really cool. I have to say, this track definitely. I think it's just such a good mix, and I love the fact that you get the NASCAR track incorporated into it as well. And it's a challenge as well. Look at these conditions as well. And Jensen now into the pits. I'm trying to think, third favourite track. I guess Mexico, actually. Mexico for F1. I think, like, again, I don't think it's a real track, I want to say. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and it could be like a classic throwback track. It feels like an old F1 circuit, the way that like it is, like one of the old 50s ones or something. But if you were to go for like ones that I know are for real, Mexico definitely. I think it's a nice little challenge, because you've got to be quite precise for the first sector, and then the final sector as well. What's it called? Sorry, no, I guess middle sector, where you got all the left rights as well. It just feels really satisfying when you get it right and you don't spin it. Yeah, I'd have to say those are probably my 3 favourite tracks. But like, yeah, that's only a push though. There are plenty of other tracks that I really enjoy doing because they're just fun, and I love ovals as well because they're just simple. They're simple, but you can do so much on them, and you can have really great side-by-side racing as well. As we've gone past the halfway mark. I missed NASCAR and Mexico and Canada. They went to Mexico? Was that the F1 street circuit, or was that a different one? I know Canada, because I remember there was... I remember there was one incident where a driver got spun there as part of a... what was it? But I know there was quite a funny one where I think it was Danica Patrick ran over a boot, I think it was, like a shoe. And I think it broke the drive shaft. No, not drive shaft. Might have been half shaft or something on the. I think it was something on the rear broke because of her running over this boot. As Max now entering the pits, and Sandro going for his first pit stop as well. But Max, the race leader, pitting now. He loses the lead to Nick. One Pablo, one Mexico. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to try and find that on YouTube like later. Cool to see if that was the modern day layout, like the one they use now, because I know the one they used to have, the stadium section essentially wasn't there. It was literally you do the run down to the line, and it'd be this long, powerful right. And I know there was a pretty iconic overtake with Nigel Mansell around the outside. I think it was of Gerhard Berger, I think it was. And I want to say it was when he was in the Ferrari, so when was that, 1990 maybe? 91? Might be 91. Trying to remember, I can picture it in my head, like the overtake, like I could play it over in my head, but I just can't remember the year. And I know it was Mansell, but I'm not sure if it was Berger. It was 2012. Oh, okay. As Sandro coming out the pits, but Max though 35 seconds back, or 36 seconds back on the leader, who's Nick, and Nick has not stopped yet, but he's way ahead at the moment. But the pit stops take quite long, it depends really on the damage as well that you have in your car. And of course if you're someone like Max who's been out in front, I think he's been in a few battles throughout the race, but when you're out in front like that, there's plenty of things that you can do. Sorry, there's not much you can do. But you can kind of just keep the car safe. You kind of just focus on your own race, not making any mistakes. As Nick goes into the pits, he's going to come in now. Fuel in. Do the weird animation for not changing tyres. So they just take a look at the tyre and just go, yeah, that was good. Surprised we haven't seen any more weather slots yet. We've had, well, we started off with snow, believe it or not. It was really interesting there. It was like foggy snow. Then we've moved on to like a thunderstorm now. I think this is just normal rain. I haven't really seen many flash. Oh, as I say that, we get a flash of lightning. And I've seen that was for damage there, the reason why he was slow in the pit stop. But Max goes past to retake the lead. But we're going to still watch Nick though. As he waits this one out. Believe it or not, NASCAR did Suzuka short in the 90s. Wow. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I imagine it'd actually be quite good. I know IndyCar used to do Motegi, because there was what was it? They call it the Twin Ring, Motegi. If you don't know the track, Motegi from, I think it's actually it's in Gran Turismo 6, I think. And it would have the normal circuit, but then there'd be two bridges that you'd drive under, and on top of like that, on that bridge, on top of the bridge, there would be an oval circuit, which I know IndyCar used. IndyCar used to go to so many cool tracks as well. They went to like Brands Hatch. Speaking of as well, I think, if I remember rightly, V8 Supercars actually went to Abu Dhabi at one point as well. But I love it when they go to these obscure sort of places. Yeah, I feel like I need to do that a bit more. Like, like IndyCar, I think needs to kind of branch out a little bit more. Like I know it's a primarily American season; it's not necessarily like they've got worldwide drivers, but they haven't necessarily got worldwide tracks. So I think it'd be cool if they could like tie it into maybe even F1 or something. I know the season ends like really early for them, but you know maybe like have F1, sorry, yeah, have IndyCar go to the Miami circuit that you know F1 are going to be going to for the next 10 years. Like that'd be a really cool addition to the IndyCar, you know, sort of season, and also as well like have a bit more like races in, because what IndyCar was done by the end of September, wasn't it? Like this season, I feel like it'd be a little bit. Maybe not a little bit longer in terms of the amount of races, but just maybe kind of add a few more towards the end. Like, there's so many great tracks in America that they go to, but also don't go to. You know, Sebring, I think, is a great track. I've never driven it myself personally, but just from watching it, you know, the final corner, I think it's the final 2 corners, look really cool. Yeah, variety of locations is fun. Yeah, like you see all these crazy stories as well about like, you know, Jenson Button going around Bathurst. I think it was a promotional thing for Vodafone, but even then you're just like, you know, imagine that. I know it wouldn't be best for racing because it'd probably be crashes every like lap or so. But to be fair, they managed to get Formula 3 cars around Macau. So I think if you can get things around Macau without crashing too much, then surely you can get stuff around Bathurst. Like that'd be great. I think that's why, like, yeah, talk about variety in locations. Even like, you know, kind of NASCAR now, they've taken some big leaps as well. I'm loving what they're talking about doing with NASCAR. You know, the next gen cars are really cool. I guess it's only kind of one new track really, but you know, of course, I think it's is it fun? No, is it? You have to kind of check me up on this. Is it Atlanta or is it Fontana is having the big change to make it like wider, make the banking a bit more, so then the racing will be a little bit quicker? I'm not sure what. They're almost turning one of the 1.5-mile tracks almost into a well, sort of like a super speedway. As Dion goes into the pits, sorry for not picking up on that. Mid-Ohio is nice too. Mid-Ohio. Is that the one with? Is that the one where they have all of the punch-ups? Really good explanation there. Is that the one where it's like, so turn one's kind of like a downhill sort of right, and then it goes even further downhill, kind of one of those ones? Not sure. I know the Virginia Motorsport Park is quite cool as well. There's some really cool sections there. So there's a cool. Oh, Max going off a little bit there, making a mistake. One of the few mistakes we've actually caught on a stream. But yeah, sorry to talk about NASCAR. But I love what they're doing. The new cars, the sequential gearboxes. I mean, it's a big step, because NASCAR's. I feel like they've kind of prided themselves on being like a. I don't know, kind of like a bit of a old school sort of sport. Like they've always, you know, they don't have pit limiters. What's that? Probably Fontana, since Atlanta already banked. Yeah, Fontana feels like it's always consistently banked. Actually, it's kind of like I think it's Fontana. Yeah, Auto Club. Yeah, it's kind of always got like a banking. I know certain tracks kind of do, but it always feels like it's like 15 degrees or something on the straight alone, and then it's like for like the tri-oval bit, and then like the corners about 20 or 25 or something. Mid-Eye we did last season, round 3. I don't know if you were there. No, I think I came in a bit later than that. I think I remember Jackson talking about it, saying, because I think I was in a practice lobby with him for Mid-Ohio and saying how much I hated it. I think it just doesn't help with the game as well. Like the Charlotte Roval, that'd be great for GT racing actually. The Charlotte Roval, very similar to this track actually. Maybe not in terms of the layout. It kind of looks like a bit of a. Actually, to be fair, it's the same sort of shape. It's just a bit more. It's a bit smaller because, of course, it's being built around a 2.5-mile Daytona. It's built inside of a 1.5-mile Charlotte Oval. But the Roval's insane. If you don't know what I'm on about, the Charlotte Roval was something they brought into NASCAR 2018, I want to say, or 19, one of the two, and it's very similar, I'd say, to almost you see the shape of the infield there. The sort of, it looks almost like an anvil or like a gravy boat or something. It's kind of a bit like that, except it's just a bit more compact and a bit like tighter. But it provides great racing for NASCAR, and I think just the way that they drive things in NASCAR as well, I think that you probably go a lot quicker in a GT car. You better abuse the curbs a little bit more in a GT car. But it would be really fun, actually. I don't know if it's listed at all on like the American GT3 championship, because I know they got, is it American GT Challenge or something like that, or US GT Challenge or something. I think they've got their own sort of GT series out there, and I'd love it if they could do the Roval. I reckon that'd be really cool to compare the lap times actually as well, because again, with the new NASCARs, if they don't know, NASCAR have gone from, I was saying about it earlier actually, so the NASCARs that they use nowadays, they're quite old school. I think that's kind of what NASCAR sort of pride themselves on, almost a bit like being quite old school. As we look at this battle here for P2, Jensen being closed in by Samuel, two of the quickest guys on track. It looks like Jensen might have made a mistake actually on this previous lap, looking at 4 seconds off of Samuel, and Sam might try and make a move for this contact. But the two screaming, the two V8 screaming now down the home straight. Is he going to look to the outside? That's where I'd say maybe a bit better on the brakes, but there's a bit more weight on Jensen's car, which slows it down a bit more for the corner. And Sam's going to have to back out. He might have to try and fight back another lap. First bit of on-track racing we've seen in a while. We're saying that though, Nick and Ren are fairly close. But yeah, the old school NASCAR, sorry, the NASCARs now, they kind of pride themselves as being quite old school. Like they're, again, no pit limiters. What's it called? They have, well, the only top tier motorsport that still uses H pattern gearboxes. Quite simple gearboxes, only 4-speed as well. But the skill it takes though to drive a NASCAR quickly and amongst others is, I think it's quite underrated. To drive that close at speeds of up to 200 mile an hour, it's something else. And just for being in a NASCAR league enough, it's quite scary. So, Talladega's going to be interesting. Tangent off for a bit there, yeah. Yeah, that's the strat. That's why they're 22 seconds back. They haven't hooked onto each other's like rear ends and just driven on forward. Don't know if the cars are actually made for that. I think they might get stuck on the diffuser or something if they tried it. And looks like Sam's gonna have another crack here. Moves toward the outside instead. He's got the move done around the outside as he does. Get a good run there. But now, can he keep the lead into turn one? Jensen braking a lot later. Can he make the corner? Just about, but I think Sam might get underneath him. They're still side by side for the chicane. And Jensen has to back out. It was a great piece of driving there from Samuel. A quick driver, a smart driver there. Decided to get the move done, or tried to get the move done before the breakers. So Jensen tried to go deep, tried to cover him off. But Sandever said, bye, have a good time, and went up the inside of him. Logan lurking in behind, should they crash? Yeah, to be fair. He's right there. If these two keep battling as well, Logan will join this battle. How far back is he? 4 seconds at the moment. That Ferrari's quick though. In fact, what was his last lap time? 56. So he's still quicker than Max, I guess, by 6/10. But the two guys there, even though they were sort of battling, I guess, were born 54s though, a piece. But that could change this lap because they've been battling a bit harder. Oh, that's dangerous. Sam going around the outside. Who's going to pull out? you have to say it would be Jensen because he's lost the position, but he's still there. And they're both going to make it from the looks of it. May go a little bit wide on exit. No, nice and clean. In fact, I haven't spotted that because we're on board with, or because we're watching Jensen. We can see the gap both ways. So we can see that Logan's dropping back a little bit through the chicane section, but because of that slipstream, though, he might be starting to catch Sam a little bit. And then, oh no, Sam's got a really good exit. Actually, he's pulling ahead. Ooh, got close to the rear end of them there. Logan closing a lot on the brakes there. Don't know if that's a Ferrari thing. Oh, that's, yeah. Oh no, he hasn't. Oh, okay. The gap started going down there. It was like 3.8 seconds. So I was like, oh, what's he done there? Nope, hasn't done anything. It just it's jumping around quite a bit. But now Sam, though, under pressure from Jensen at the back of him. Oh, Sam goes a track and there's contact. Jensen goes off. I don't think he's dropped too much time, and I think Sam may let off a little bit here. I don't know. Doesn't look like he hasn't lost much time. Jensen, that is, hasn't lost much time. It looks to be safe for the moment. And yeah, I started talking about this earlier in qualifying, I think it was. There's a brilliant video, if you haven't seen it. I don't know how many people have actually seen it, because it's the channel hasn't got many subscribers, but I know it got fairly decent views. Channel's called Rents the Fence. He's a sort of iRacing streamer, and he basically did a lot of compilations from like Twitch sort of clips of the week, essentially, from a lot of the big streamers like Quirky Tires, Matt Malone. Towing wet grass is always fun. Yeah, I suppose you want to, like, maybe just check your reactions, maybe just, you know, dip a wheel in the grass every now and again, just see if you can catch it. Yeah, that was a little bit sketchy, wouldn't it? Luckily, not too much damage there, but Jensen goes so deep into the corner. Can't make it this time, and he might spin, yeah. As soon as that rear end comes around on you, it's over. And because, I don't know if that's because the car is quite heavy or just the physics. I mean, you can sometimes save it, but the trouble is that corner where you're carrying so much speed in, and he's on the inside line as well, so by the time, you know, he's already started to turn in, and that rim starts coming around you, by the time you saved it, it's just not enough, you haven't lost enough speed. Unfortunately, that's the perfect example of what can happen when you go into a corner too quickly. And unfortunately, he spun it, and with 50 minutes left, you have to work quite hard to get that position back, especially when Sam and Jensen are quite close in terms of pace. But Max Mulder, masterful drive here. And the Audi took the lead early on, and he's done a Lewis Hamilton here and he's pulled away. Good thing he's wearing brown pants. Yeah, I was thinking that when before he spun, I was thinking Sam was being quite smart in terms of him braking. Well, it looked like he was braking quite early for the corner, just to make sure that he wasn't spinning. Let's see what he's actually. Let's see what Max is doing here, because I want to see. When's he braking? Okay, just about. Yeah, this is when he spins, isn't it? Like, what's he doing so well? And he spins it. No, that's good though. He's giving enough time, clearly. And he's not braking hard enough for the rear end to spin round on him. He's done well. These aren't easy conditions as well. I did watch a little bit of last season's stream a couple of days ago, just because I wanted to see, you know, what it was sort of like, essentially, for these guys. Sam goes into the pits now, and there might be a spinner there, actually, off of NASCAR turn 4. Who is that? That is Dion. He's not out of fuel, is he? No, he's still got plenty of fuel in. In fact, why have I not done that? Good to see everyone's fuel. I think so. Wait, that is going down, isn't it? Yeah, it's going down, okay. So Sam into the pits, he's getting car repaired, I'm assuming. And then Dion coming in. Fuel, I guess? I don't know what he's in there for. Might be damage, he might have spun. That would, sorry, might have been contact though between another driver and him. Let's watch Ren going wide. And there's a car round, it's Neek. Neek has gone round. Got to stop being a race director actually. The inputs you have to put in to try and switch to different drivers, switch to different views, a little bit different to F1. But Nick, though, unfortunately spins and he's dropped a position. But Logan, though, seems to be good on fuel. Oh, there might be a warning there. Now Logan into the pits. So I'd love to see a league where I'd love to see a race where they like play around with the penalties a little bit, and they maybe like keep the on-track penalties, but then they take away the pit ones, because I feel like that'd be so cool. Because also as well, it would be I think they do it for NASCAR. Not completely, but I know in NASCAR for I think it's qualifying. They come into the pits near enough like full speed. GT Sport is worse for comms. One camera angle, no one's force. Yeah. That actually, to be fair, yeah, you're right there. Yeah, this is only bad, I think, for the inputs, but the actual cameras aren't too bad in terms of trackside. You do get a good idea. Like for certain ones, that there's rotating views and locked views. Honestly, bad as Logan spins in the pits. Is there a puddle there? I think that must have been it. Didn't look like he was, going in too quickly or something. It didn't look like that. So must be because of some sort of puddle, I guess. There, as we watch Max starting lap 52. With 45 minutes left as a spinner, I think there I can hear Audi engine roaring. Has someone gone off at turn 1? I think so. I can't see who though. Actually, they were going around there, weren't they? Okay, no, it was Neek. Neek is spinning again. But yeah, GT Sport, yeah, worse for comms, I'd say, yeah. F1, again, F1's pretty good because of some of the camera angles. I just prefer, I like these sort of bird's eye camera views. That they use for an F1, like you get this really cool sort of tracking shot, and you get it's a nice wide view as well, so you get to see, if it's like a 3-car battle or something, you get to see kind of all of it. You get to see the lines they're kind of taking. Only thing I don't like maybe for F1 is just some of the onboards, like you only get really one onboard that you can kind of switch to, compared to this where you get chase cam, which isn't too important, but you get a nice sort of roof cam, bonnet cam, bumper cam. It'd be cool if there's some rear-facing cameras actually. Yeah, it feels like a TV broadcast with this game, yeah. Only thing, I guess, maybe I don't particularly like is the fact that the bottom, the bottom doesn't actually disappear. But you could sort of request the information when you want. Like when you actually make a contact with a button, like it maybe then flashes up. This isn't too bad. I see more puddles starting to form there, actually. That's a bit dangerous. Shouldn't be heavy rain, should it? It still looks light. There's definitely some puddles forming on track as we now have 44 minutes left and we round the end of lap 52. And across the line, what was he going to have there? 55.0. Good lap there. So also as well, one thing that might help as well, maybe not pushing it to turn 1 because you can save fuel, or trying to help save fuel when you're sort of braking for turn 1. Because if you sort of like come off the throttle quite quickly. So come off the throttle and then sort of just ease the brake in. It's a good time to sort of conserve some fuel. I think this is kind of one of the best games actually for GT racing, and if you look at a lot of leagues, like a lot of games, like GT Sport isn't too bad. You get quite a nice sort of variety of car, but there's no real feeling for each car. Like I love the handling model for this because it always feels like you're going to spin. But like that's what I quite like, because it's also the force feedback's quite light though on this game. But it's such a shame that as console players we can't have the likes of sunrise now. With 42 minutes left, it starts to get a bit brighter. We've started the race in darkness actually. It was supposed to start, I think in game it was supposed to be like 3 o'clock I think, start time, but because of the weather that we started off with, which is a blizzard, it was already quite dark. But yeah, as I was saying, it's a shame that we, as console players, are quite, sort of in terms of racing games, quite restricted, because there are only a few real sort of realistic ones you could say, but even then they have flaws. This is probably one of the more realistic games that we have, like on offer. But then, you know, there are so many other great games, like Assetto Corsa, Commentazione. I should play that more actually. It's a really good game. Assetto Corsa, normal. But then there's so many great games on PC, like R Factor 2. Amazing league support for that. You know, the updates and the maybe not the mods, but the updates you get for that. Even just the standard cars you get. You know, it's insane. You know, of course, certain. Oh, hello, is Max going off there? Is he into the wall? He's kept it out. But yeah, like there's, I think, of course, the F1 themselves, like the actual company, when they do their league racing, they have to use the F1 game. But I'm sure if they had the choice, they'd probably use Assetto Corsa mods or something, just because, they're that good. And you get a bit more variety as well. Especially in terms of the handling model as well, and there's less glitches and stuff. But then, look at Formula E. Like they don't have an actual proper game to actually. They don't have a proper full license game like F1, but they use R Factor 2, and it's brilliant from what the bits that I've seen. I know Jarno Watmir drove for the Mercedes EQ sort of, I guess, virtual team in the Formula E series that they did not too long ago. I think it was this year actually. They did it. That was really cool to watch, and like the handling model looks great. The cars look great. Graphics aren't everything as well. Like this, I think we're quite lucky because this game sort of has a nice little medium of both, where it's got fairly good graphics. This came out in 2017. I mean, ooh, onto the grass there. But yeah, this game came out in 2017, and it still, I'd say, holds up nowadays in terms of, especially when you compare it to other racing games. Like, of course, Assetto Corsa Competizione, it does what it says on the tin. It's a GT racing game where it specialises in GT cars, and it has a great handling model for each car. This, however, yes, it's got fairly good, GT sort of support, but it's also got great rally cars, great road cars, great Formula cars. Like, such a great all-rounder. It reminds me so much of like the old Toka games. Again with the track choices, with the different layouts, the weather settings as well. In fact, this, I think I might be partly wrong with this, but I know that for the game Automobilista 2, which is very popular on PC, I think they use the same engine as Project Cars 2. The only thing that's different is the cars, and I think maybe the graphics are a little bit improved, but that might just be because it's PC. But even then, that's really good. But surely, like, because that's the same engine, surely if it's the same engine, then it'll be able to run on console quite well. But there's even other games like got a little bit. No, okay, no, he hasn't. So the camera there looked like he went in quite deep. But like, even when you look at the console. So when you look at some of the PC ones like Race Room, that looks quite good as well. Like, it's got a nice variety of cars as well, sort of like this sort of variety. We wanted to do Triple Crown, Monaco, Indy 500, Le Mans. Actually, that'd be sick. Actually, if you have a game that could incorporate all of them, 3 different games. Oh, what would you do? Like GT Sport, Le Mans, Indy 500, this, and then F1 game Monaco. I mean, I've come second in an F2 race at Monaco, does that count? Instead of a triple crown, can I have a triple hat or something? Just second place in each of them. Oh, sounds like there's a car around. There's contact, I think, there. Towards the back. Who's that? That is Nick and... This is a lap call, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. It was Dion. Dion and Nick come together. How bad is the damage to Riva? Doesn't look too bad so far. Oh, I've drunk my coffee. Oh. Actually went cold there. It was like a mixture of the two. It was like having a cold coffee and a... Well, started off with a warm coffee and then treated myself to a... Yeah, I'll wait till 2023 for an IndyCar game. Yeah, it's a shame actually because there was a lot of hype for Project Cars 3 when sort of we started seeing a couple of the stuff that was coming out about it. Like it looked really good. I remember when the trailer came out as well. You know, I was really hyped because there was, you know, like Interlagos was on the game now. It looked like there was a bit more customization that you could actually do, and I love customization. And it looked really good. And I made sure I didn't pre-order it because I wanted to see what other people said beforehand, and it looked like a bloody mobile game. It just looked awful. And I went in a share play with someone who actually owned the game, and they started showing me around some of the stuff in it, and it does look awful as we see these two getting very close here, getting a little bit closer on the puddles as well. But yeah, it just looked awful. I don't know if you've played it, C-Types, or if there's anyone watching who's actually played it, but it just looks awful. They hyped it up to be this great thing, and it looked like it'd be an improvement, but they went arcadey for no apparent reason. There's no pit stops. There's like no, I think, fuel tire depletion. It just looks awful. Like there's no need. Like they probably had way more success with Project Cars 2 because they decided to, because it was a semi-serious, you know, got me a Dunkin' iced coffee walking home from work. Oh, I don't think they've got Dunkin' over here actually. I think they. Oh no, maybe do. Oh, as Dion round. What if that was a puddle? As he's let it's not Sam, who's it? That is Logan. He's let Logan through there, rather not get in his way. They've got 35 minutes left, and 35 minutes till Max brings us home. A great drive from him. Ooh, has to say that goes into the grass. I think he's trying your strategy. He does, just, you know, tying the wet grass, always fun. You know, just wanted to test the water. Excuse the pun. But he's 31 seconds ahead of Jensen, the Season 2 champion, and you'd have to say that the win is definitely on here. But yeah, being also nice to see a more updated game as well for console, because I know there were a few games that were teased this year that were supposed to come out. There's like a game called like GT3 or something, which is like a sort of GT game, but I guess it would be a bit more updated in terms of the cars and stuff. Probably more Starbucks out there than Dunkin'. Oh yeah, completely. But Dunkin' Donuts is good though, you know. You get donuts. I remember they had like a basketball donut. It was like cream inside. Sorry, like custard, but then like a basketball icing on the top of it. I bet they got some like Halloween promotional stuff as well. They probably got like a spider donut or something. Like a ghost donut. In Starbucks, they'll just charge you a little bit less. You know, it's bloody extortionate. You get like 2 coffees or something for like £7, which would be like what? £7's about. Actually, no, probably about $7 actually. I think. Probably transfers about the same. I don't know what the exchange rate difference would be between the two, but like I remember getting like a regular latte or something. Had a little dirt on tyre, needed it clean for victory lane. Yeah, of course. Just go through puddles, just make it look good for victory lane, yeah. And of course we've got cool down lap as well, so that's when he can, you know, have a good opportunity to wash the car off. He's actually got quicker in that first sector there. But consistently the 55 was a great drive. Oh, Leon though, 153. Did he cut any? Did he cut something there? A 153.1, great lap. And this late on as well. Yeah, Spider Donut. Spider Donut and Pumpkin Donut. Cool. God, what's the closest gap out here then? I think it's Neek and Epic, but that's it. So Neek and Logan. But we're probably going to focus on Max here. I imagine to the end, really, because got half an hour left. And unless he has a monumental crash, this should be. I don't know if we'll see any more pit stops. Actually, I think people should be going on fuel. See 66 there. Let's have a go through the field. Actually, 66, 63, 59, 70, 65, 98, 76, and 78. Yeah, so should be good on fuel. But yeah, see how he does. £7 is like $10. Oh, goddamn exchange rates. No, doing it used to be simple. It used to be like 1.4, I think. I don't know what it is now. Like £1 was $1.4, but I don't know what it is now. Been a while. Been a while since I've been to America shows. With all the COVID stuff, it's been a little bit put off. It used to be a bit of a. I think I've been what, Florida twice, Virginia once. Whereabouts in America do you live then, Seasize? Because yeah, because we were planning on going back to America in 2020, but then well, pretty self-explanatory what happened. And then we tried to organise something for this year, thinking that, you know, America would be safe to travel to. But then I think it got put into a red list around the time that we were supposed to be going, so we've then reorganised it again to go next year. Looking to go to Bristol for the NASCAR. And then try and pick up any sort of drag racing that's around as well, because drag racing is another sport that I really like as well. But it's so fast, like it's just mind-blowing, the numbers. CT, is that Connecticut? I think it's, yeah, surely can't be anything else unless you spin track me with something else, but was it Connecticut, or was it supposed to be just Connecticut? As that is the lap car of Sandro, which Max is closing in on and could pass quite quickly. Oh, we're going to get a little bit twitchy there. So you're going for the corner, you just hear the drop in revs. There's almost him going, I don't want to spin this. The thing is as well, Max can probably afford to make a few mistakes now because he's got such a big gap. It's not really going to be an issue. But to be fair, he's 3 tenths up. I think I saw a 52 actually from someone earlier. I think that might have been Sam, possibly, or Logan. There was a 52 from someone. But yeah, as I need to finish the story eventually. Yeah, Rents the Fence does his Twitch compilations of the week sort of thing, and he sort of stopped doing it now. I think his last one was like about 2 months ago or something, but he did one about the 24 hours of Daytona, and there was one clip from a guy who was commentating on a lap on board the car of someone, and he was sort of doing it in like a Rusty Wallace style. Now, I've never listened to one of them from the broadcast on NASCAR, but I had NASCAR 09, which I still think is an amazing game. and if you previewed a track, like if you went onto the track that you're about to select, Rusty Wurst would come up and he'd be like, you know, hey guys, well, you know, we're about to do a lap of New Hampshire or something, and he does it in that sort of style, sort of impression, and he just sort of goes really over the top. He gets annoyed with people flashing their lights at night because it's quite off-putting. He gets annoyed with some cars that are in front of them as well. I was like, okay, now coming into the left, gonna get past this green Porsche, you won't get out the bloody way. Not bloody, of course, he probably said something else, but I'm trying to be sort of PG. But yes, brilliant to watch. If you haven't seen it, just type down like Rents the Fence 24 Hours Daytona or something, and it should come up. And yeah, really funny. I watch it if I ever get bored on YouTube, just because it's fairly short. It's like a 2-minute clip or something, because it's a lap of the track in a GT car. But yes, it's proper funny. We've got half an hour left though. Well, I say half an hour, 27 minutes left, and I'm sure some of these drivers will be wishing this is over. Some drivers will be absolutely loving this. I'm sure the willingness to carry on will be getting further and further, sort of less the further down the field you go. Not bad impression. Watched enough NASCAR, watched enough like American shows to get close. But look at this, he's probably so ahead of Jensen. I know Jensen had a bad, oh, he's had a bad lap there actually, 202. A few 202s there actually. Then some spun or went wide or something on the curb. In fact, if we have a look, this might be the first time in a while we're actually going to say this. There's a battle on track. 3-4 tenths separating these guys. See Logan steering that car in so hard there. That's Dion. Okay. Okay, so I thought there'd be an not impression. I thought there'd be a battle on track, but there's nothing at the moment. I looked on the leaderboard, sorry, not the leaderboard, the map, and there was like 2 cars fairly close to the leaderboard. It looked like the gaps were fairly close there, and I was like, oh, we've got a chance, and it's nothing. Oh, Nick, going a bit wide there. That corner's a really iffy one as well, because if you try and take it tight on exit, it's really easy to spin the car sometimes. There's Rich Jensen here, P2 surely secured at the moment. He's got to take something quite bad for him to happen to him, to mess up. And of course he doesn't have to worry about battling it with anyone, so he can just take that turn one nice and easy. And he's not really got to worry about Ren behind him. But Max still in the lead, 40 seconds is the gap. And a lap 62. And by the end of this, what lap would be on? 25 minutes, maybe lap 80 maybe, 85. So that is 4 tenths up actually, he's going much quicker. Fastest lap last time round was Jensen with 153.9, so he's closing a little bit, but the gaps just keep going up. The gap just keeps going up. It'll be interesting to see about the weather as well. Again, I know I think it was 4 weather slots over an entire race. And maybe we're coming to the final slot now. Looks like light rain, but it's kind of brightening up a little bit from the looks of it. That might just be the daytime. And it's 2 tenths down. It's been a great drive though from Max. I know a lot of people that there's a few people that I know don't particularly like endurance racing because it's very long. Oh, 74 laps, okay. Ooh, okay. Every time I hear that drop in revs as he comes through turn 1, I'm just like, sorry, comes through that corner, I'm just like, I'm ready to see the rear end come round on him. Just that drop in revs, I'm so used to it on this game, because that's probably the sound you hear before you're facing the wrong way. But yeah, I know I know a few people who don't particularly like endurance racing just because it's too long, it's too boring, you know, don't really see much point in it, but it's such a test though for the car and the driver. You know, it's so easy to make a mistake just by braking too hard, braking too early, braking too late. You know, it's quite easy to do. And even the cars, I know we don't necessarily have this factor now, But, you know, if you look at real life, you know, it's also about the cars. When they're doing these 24-hour-long races, you've got to make sure that the car's able to last that 24 hours. And, you know, you're putting it through its paces. You know, you're running these brakes at incredible temperatures. You know, the car's going to be running at high temperatures as well. If you're revving it, especially on a track like this, where you're trying to maximise every gear, you're running it at such high RPM. And that's why it's such a, you know, incredible sort of sport for, like, man and machine, almost like working together. I'd love to go to Le Mans someday, just because it's a, you know, be quite an experience. It's not too far from me. All I'd do is get like a ferry over or something, and, you know, I'm sure it'd be fun. Just go with a few friends, have a bit of fun, have a couple drinks, make the time pass. There's Dion, I think, with a penalty there. His name's red, so if I have a look at the timings, 2-second tyre penalty. Oh, as Max spins! That's his first big mistake. He shouldn't lose too much time. In fact, I think that was Nico and Sawyer there, wasn't it? Both Audis having a mistake in the same lap. Sort of pulling away quite slowly from that camera there. But I think Max just wanted to make it fun. You know, just wanted to warm up his tyres a bit more. Lock up the tyres, you know, just slide it a little bit. Do it for the show. Create a bit of drama. 20 minutes left. Oh. That's Dion round again. Oh no! Max got a bit deep there, almost ran into Dion. Wouldn't have gone that well. But Max that lap though, 52. Same with Leon. And the 52s are probably the maximum lap time you're going to get in these conditions. You saw in the dry they were getting into the 40s easily. But of course with these conditions as well, being quite treacherous. Maybe not necessarily the rain is the issue, but the actual standing water is the main issue. Luckily you don't get really any on the banking unless you go onto the apron. You know, of course, I'd be very worried if you got puddles there. I think your physics are a little bit wrong. But I'm surprised there isn't. It'd be cool if there was an SRL sort of league for again ACC. So of course it comes to Daytona. I don't know how many people actually have it. I guess this game's maybe a bit more popular than ACC. But you know, they got near enough the same cars, a bit of more variety in terms of tracks. But it's a shame as well. You can't. There's a factor in both those games which unfortunately you can't really utilise unless it's PC. I think you have swap drivers, which is something I think is really cool, and VR actually. I know swap drivers is something that you can do in this actually, but I think an AI just takes control of it and it goes like really slow. But it'd be cool if like you could be, you know, in a lobby or something or in a team, and you could, you know, willingly swap drivers, you know, at like a halfway mark or something, or like do stints of like half an hour each or something. I think that'd be like a really cool factor. But then again, this game has VR apparently. I know it's for PC. I know Jimmy Broadbent, who's quite a big sim racing YouTuber, he has said that it's, you know, one of the best for immersion, and I love immersion myself, especially when you get into like the open cockpit cars. You know, it's a really cool sort of really cool look to it, and you know, again, makes you feel immersed. You know, you could be in an Indy car, Formula car, even like an LMP 900. You know, those ones tend to be open top as well. I think there's one LMP2 car which is open top, and that'd be really cool. Even like inside the car, like even a rallycross car or something. You know, that'd be really cool. NASCAR as well. Instead of having to use buttons to kind of like look across and stuff, like you can actually feel like you're in the car. Yeah, I'd love to have a proper VR supported game like that. I think GT Sport's the only real VR supported driving game, but even then it's not very good. I think you could only, it's like a VR tour or something they call it, and I swear there's only like a few cars you can actually do it with or something. I don't personally know because I don't have PSVR, but I just think this with how sort of far gaming has come over the past, you know, even 10 years ago, game has come so far since then. But you know, what's going to happen in 10 years? Are we going to have, you know, more immersive games, you know, again like VR support for racing games, that would be an immense thing to happen. You know, Project Cars 4, you never know, might be VR supported for PlayStation. It'd be amazing if they could do it. Again, just for that immersion, and league racing would be interesting. With yeah, just I'd love to have that experience of, you know, what it's like to get sent in real life. Although I have seen people get very motion sick. I think it's more Dirt Rally 2 is the one that seems to get most people feeling not very good. And I'm sure I can see why some people are motion sick. I know, I think it was one of my dad's friends had a go at my wheel, and I've got like a spinny chair, and he felt motion sick just because, you know, he's so used to driving a car where, you know, the seat's fixed and you're driving forward, but of course, you know, with the seat you're moving side by side, you know, by putting the movements in, and you know, you're staring directly ahead and you're not really moving, so it can be quite difficult for some people to almost get used to. But yeah, I think VR would be great. Actually, yeah, is VR for Dirt Rally 2? I think it's only PC again. But again, that'd be great. But there's plenty of games that I think the next stage for, like, the next step for racing games on PlayStation has to be VR. Graphics, you know, that comes with, essentially with the engine, like the, you know, graphics. Some of the best racing games out there, like iRacing, definitely probably one of the biggest platforms or one of the biggest communities for league racing is probably iRacing. And that, hang on, has the rain gotten heavier? Are we in the last phase finally? Hang on, let me quickly check the... No, it doesn't look heavier. Maybe that's just... I don't know, from the outside, from the outboard view, it looks a bit heavier. I don't think it's medium rain, I think it's literally just light rain or heavy, but... And surely Nick here is going to move over, maybe, for his teammate. Maybe let him by on the straight or something. But yeah, surely next stage for league racing has to be deception on the brain causes issues in some people. Yeah. Ooh, Nick got onto the puddle on the brakes, and I think Max might have to give him a bit of a bump here and say, "Oh, you move over. I'm the leader." But yeah, I think the next step for racing games has to be VR. Again, graphics, yeah, physics you can maybe improve a little bit on. Graphics usually are fine, like any racing that comes out, even, you know, dare I say, Project Cars 3. I know it's a little bit like a mobile game for what I've seen, but that's kind of, I guess, more down to what the game actually is and how it plays rather than what it looks like, because it looks alright. But yeah, like, again, Automobilista essentially is Project Cars 2 but with different cars and a better handling model, but they use the same engine, they use the same, you know, graphics as this. Even if I remember watching a bit of gameplay from it, and the actual, like, speedo that you see there on the right of your screen, that's the same in Automobilista 2 from what I've seen. So yeah, you can just take the basis of a game like Project Cars 2. I think it's a great base to build off of and just improve it. Like, the only thing, again, the handling model has its issues. Like, I think it's a good handling model, but I think the only thing I don't like about it is the way that it feels sometimes. There's almost like a pendulum motion sometimes, it feels like, which isn't the best, you know, I will admit. But overall, though, it's really, I'd say it's, you know, one of the best for handling. Oh, Max getting a little bit loose there. Rear end starting to go around on him almost there, and he's kept it though, to be fair to him. And a great drive though from Max, actually. But from when I've been watching, there's been absolutely zero mistakes. But yeah, as I said, VR support I think is the next stage for racing games. I think everything else is fine at the moment. Oh, hello, Nick going off. And I think it'd be worth forking out, because unfortunately I think PSVR is quite expensive. It's like 250 quid, I think it is, for the VR headset and the controls that go with it, like the hand thingies, whatever you want to call it. Well, I guess they are controllers, aren't they? But that'd be really cool. Again, like for doing like an Indy 5, imagine doing that, like an Indy 500 in the cockpit camp. That'd be so cool. Getting to crash at hot top speeds in real life. Yeah, I'd be sick. I don't know how to react to it though. I'm not usually a motion sick person, so I don't know. But VR is VR is such a different experience. It's not it's not exactly the same as being on a, in a car or something, and getting motion sick like that. It's such a different feeling. I think I've done I've done VR before, but I think it was for like a phone or something. Where they get what was it called? YouTube did like a cardboard thing, they called it, or something, where like you put it into a VR headset and you got to see like both, like the screen through both. I think I did like a little first-person shooter sort of game, I think, with the headset on as well. But sorry, with the VR on. But yep, as we start lap, nice. 12 minutes left. Logan, pretty good lap times here actually. He's one of the few drivers that's been consistently up in the 52s and 53s, but drivers he's a minute and 19 down, so yeah, it's not exactly making up too much time. But at the moment though, your podium would be Max Mulder, Jensen, and then Ren. But Jensen starting on pole. Sam unfortunately down to P5. And the two Ferraris then in the same livery, not exactly have the best of races. Let's watch this 3-car battle here. Dion at the back of it is a lap down, but Nick and Sam though are on the same lap. Oh, it's rocketing down the straight there. What a run! Can he get the car stopped though? It's to take a bit of a tighter turn one. He's going to go wide easily there. Yep, Sam goes wide. He might concede the position as well to Dion, even though he's a lap down. No, he doesn't. Dion might have backed out there. In fact, I think he has. On to lap 70. Going off of what Cesar said, we should have about 4 laps to go, which looks maybe right. Maybe one more. But again, great drive though from Max. Pulled away once he got the lead, and he certainly hasn't let that opportunity go to waste. A great drive so far. I am saying so far because I don't want to jinx it. That was like, ooh. So look out the steer there. I was like, ooh, here we go. About to see the rear end of that Audi. But yes. So I don't understand when commentators talk like it's going to, like they're going to win so much. Like I had it. It's just funny enough. They had it last week in the MotoGP. So they had one of the riders who was out in front who was battling for the championship, and basically it meant that if he didn't finish the race, the person who was in front of him in the championship would have won. The championship, that is. And so it was at the final few laps, I think it was, like final 5 laps maybe. And he came through, basically the way it worked, it's Mazzano, the track I was on about earlier, and the issue is with that track for bikes is that there are so many right-handers that I'd say there's about, if you go for, so you have a left-hander, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 6 right-handers, and that means that you're putting a lot of stress through that right side of the tyre. It's getting a lot warmer, and then you flip over onto a left-hander, and that left-hander means that your left side of the tyre is quite cold, which means that there's not as much grip. So it literally means as you, oh, Max gone off track, but he's rejoining quite quickly, and he shouldn't lose too much time. But yeah, sorry, as I was saying, yeah, so. And it means as you switch onto that left side of the tyre, literally as you, what's it called? As you hit the brake, because there's not a lot of temperature, it basically means that you often fall off. And the commentators we're talking like, oh, you know, it's going to be great to see this title come down to the end, and it's been a masterful ride, you know, he's fallen off in the past around this track in the lead, and it's, you know, so good to see that he's up in the front, and they were talking as if like he's already won the race, and I'm kind of just sat there just going, if he falls off now, you are going to sound so stupid. What happens? He did that exact corner, did 6 right-handers, switched over onto the left. As soon as he hit the brake, front end folded, he goes down, and it essentially gives the championship to the other guy. And I'm just sat there just going, why would you talk like that? That's like, like and also as well, I'd understand if it was in F1. Like right now, if Max, you know, Max is where he is now, I'd say, you know, it's been a masterful drive. He's done really well. It's been a deserved win from how he's been driving. You know, that would make sense, because even if he spins right now, he's probably still going to get the lead unless he loses a tire or something or gets major like suspension damage. But I'm still aware of that because it can happen. All it takes is for him to catch a puddle wrong or to mess up turn 1 enough, and you can get extreme damage. Yeah, again, I can understand that. Like, you know, if you're talking like, you know, again, look at the US Grand Prix, Max Verstappen out in front, you know, by quite a bit. Yes, Hamilton's closing in, but you still say, you know, maybe 2 laps to go or something, or a lap to go. You'd say, you know, oh, he's done really well here. MotoGP, you can fall off at any point you want. You grab the brake too hard, you know, again, like Misano, the way the track is, you do those series of rights and then into the left. On a bike, when you've got that cold side of the tyre, it's very easy to go down. Compared to most, it's much harder to spin a car than it is to fall off of a bike, like in MotoGP. So I don't understand it when the commentators talk so confidently about a rider. Like, I've got nothing. Like, of course, these riders are the best in the world, just like, you know, these drivers are the best in the world. But you wouldn't expect them to, like, and of course, you know, they again, if they're in the lead for that long, then, you know, it's understandable, I guess, in terms of, yeah. But I just don't understand it. But again, I'm very wary of talking as well, because I don't want to commentate to curse Max here and be like, oh, you know, why? As soon as I say it, okay, he's spun though, but he should get going. He's kept out of the wall. Should be fairly easy, but literally, as I say, commentator's curse. What happens? Goes round. Oh, for God's sake. Right, sorry, you could say it was perfectly timed. If I'd said it as long as he doesn't spin or something, that would have been better, but... Here we go, though. 6 minutes left. On lap 72. And I'll stop rambling and start talking about how this race has gone so far, because it's been... interesting. Oh, hello. It's been interesting. This is my first time commentating on an endurance race. Longest race I ever commentated on was probably like a Monaco race or something on F1. It's the first time I commentated for a GT League, and I haven't minded it. It's been good. Thank you very much for Tito's here. I'm not gonna lie, I started fading a little bit, not sleeping wise, but just sort of just a bit bored. But as soon as Tito's came in, started talking, it was great because I had someone to talk to, someone to sort of back and forth with. Which is always great, especially as a commentator when you're trying to commentate on your own. Must admit, I did ask some of my friends if they wanted to co-commentate with this. But yeah, it's good to have Citos here, so thank you very much, mate, for being here for... God, how long have you been here for? Quite a while, actually. Probably quite early on, actually, then. But yeah, it's great to see these guys racing as well. Good to see it's a bit different, because of course F1, it's essentially about being the quickest all the time, pretty much. Like, yeah, there's a bit of management involved in it, but you know, a lot of it is go as quick as you can, pit stop as quick as you can, all that. This takes a bit more management in terms of just actually being as a driver. You know, managing tyres, not too much. Fuel, managing not too much, but just actually managing the car, making sure you're not spinning. You know. As silly as that sounds, it's very easy to in these cars. So yeah, it's great to see these drivers sort of driving differently, driving a different car. And Max Mulder, you know, you wouldn't always say he's the favourite to win in an F1 race, is on, you know, on his way to winning this GT race in masterful fashion. I don't know if he's won before. I haven't got any sort of information on whether or not he's won before. But it's been a great drive, and Nick has got a penalty, by the way. I'll just check quickly how much it is. Maybe 2 seconds, a second, 12 seconds. All right. Oh no, don't quit. Oh, that was close. As you see there, 50 slowest lap from someone today. It says the fastest lap is Sandro. Quickest lap altogether though is Nick with a 140. Was that from him cutting the corner or something? Was that like, did he miss the chicane completely or something? Someone coming to the pits there. Who's that? It's Nick. Is he serving a penalty? Can you serve penalties? I don't think you can. He shouldn't come in for fuel. As he's not driving through, is he? That is strange. Is that a drive-through? He won't lose a position because of it, but I'm just curious. No, it's still at 12 seconds, so don't know what that's about. Right then. Let's have a look then at Max in the front. Been a great drive from. Probably sound like a broken record, but there's not much to talk about. It's not like F1 where it's very fast-paced, it's thrown in your face often the time. It's a bit. Oh, he's onto the puddle though, and he's going to spin again. Oh, carefully don't make contact here with Sam. Might be epic actually. Nothing, Sam. This is the thing. He's so far ahead, he can almost afford to do stuff like that. He's trying to wow the crowds, maybe. Sort of a bit more drama. Hollywoodify it almost. He's got 1:30 left, which should mean actually that by the time that he, tell you what, you're only a lap off, mate. So you were you were fairly close. You said 74 laps, and you were only a lap off. So that's class considering how far off I think we were before, like 20 minutes off. So it would be quite hard to sort of dictate. If he didn't have that spin there, then maybe I don't know, it would have been two. I don't know. I can't time. But Max though, coming up on the back marker again. I think Sam. Less than a minute left. That's Ferrari might be off. He went right onto the puddle there. Surprised he didn't see it. Surprised he didn't avoid it. And he's going to slipstream up to the Ferrari. Careful. But 1 second left. Time remaining is 0. And this should be the final lap. And when he crosses the line, he will take the win. Max Mulder, a great driver, masterful driver. He's had plenty of mistakes, but he's almost afforded himself to make those mistakes. He's going to back off the throttle. And he's going to come across the line, revving the car out. Max Mulder takes the win of the Daytona 2.4, sorry. And he revs the car out. We got a cool down lap as well. In second place though, Jensen, Season 2 champion. He would have wanted to win today, but it hasn't happened for him. Just kept making mistakes at turn 1. I think that was probably the thing that led to his downfall, really. But he's done a good job today, though, to bring it home for P2 in the Mercedes, flashing his lights. He's going to be happy with this one. 2.4 hours ends with him in P2. In P3, though, is Leon at the moment. He actually has got Ren quite close behind him, but I don't think Ren's going to close in that much in, well, what is essentially just a straight, really. And now, watching around the final corner. Flashing his lights. He'll take this one, he'll definitely take this. He's going to come across the line in P3, followed closely by Ren in P4. Sam, the only car that needs to finish, everyone else is gathered at turn 1. Actually, what are they doing? Are they just crashing into each other or something? Or they are. Oh, brilliant. No, let's do the donuts. There you go. But we'll watch Sam here, though. I think he made 2 pit stops, didn't he? He's still in P5, though. His teammate got P3, but he'll take P5 and take some nice points for Ferrari. There's confirmation. And the fastest lap of the race goes to Nick, but I don't know if that was a legal lap. So if I were to discount that, which may be wrong to do. In fact, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Logan 2 stops, and he still came 3rd. 75 laps all by every driver except Nick, Sandro, and Dion. Fastest lap of the race, if you were to take out the 49, was Logan. But there is no confirmation. Max Mulder taking the win. The Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman, you might say. Jensen, the Briton, in 2nd. And then the American taking P3 in his home race. Followed by Ren in P4. Followed by Sam in P5. Then Nick P6. P7 Sandro. P8 Dion. And unfortunately, Louis either lagged out or retired from the race. It should be P9, and then unfortunately as well, Dennis Chitty should have been in the race, but unfortunately, I think he said he clicked the Race Central button, which led to him exiting the lobby, and it meant that he couldn't take part in the race. So, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, but hopefully for the next race in Imola, he can. And maybe we might see some other drivers as well there. So, that was interesting. 2 hours 25 minutes. Yeah, good racing, great driving as well. And well, for my first endurance race, I would actually say that was quite fun to watch and to commentate on. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. We've got 8 likes on the stream, and we've got 3 people watching now. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, C-Ties, for keeping me I don't know, keeping me from rambling on to myself. I feel like I'll be in a straitjacket by the end of this. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. It was good to commentate on, actually. It was not bad racing as well. Some unfortunate things happening to certain drivers, but great driving though from Max Mulder to take the win today. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. And we will see you on, if I get the date up quickly, round 2 Imola, which will be on the, I believe, where is it? Imola will be on the 27th of November, so mark that in your calendar, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time for F1 at Australia. Make sure you will stay safe, and I will see you then.